This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
You're watching the American Athletic Conference on ESPN. And we welcome you to ESPN College Football as part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week. From Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. From the MEAC, it's North Carolina Central and East Carolina's Pirates, now part of the American Athletic Conference, no longer a member of Conference USA. With my partner, Dave Diaz-Infante, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, a little bit under the radar this ECU team was until last year when they won 10 games, finished really strongly, had a great bowl game. They have one of the most dynamic passing combinations in all of college football.
Yeah, and Shane Carden and Justin Hardy, you're right. They are the best tandem, I think, in college football, arguably, that not too many people know about. They started developing their chemistry as freshmen on the scout team, and it's just taken off in the last few years. When Shane Carden scrambles, Justin Hardy knows exactly where to break, and Carden can fit the ball into tight windows. I tell you, this chemistry is outstanding.
Now, North Carolina Central did struggle a bit last year. They won only 5 games, but if they have a strength on this team defensively, it is in their secondary. It's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, and Smith and Jones, two of their defensive backs, these guys can cover. They're going to have to when they're going to try and shut down that potent offensive passing attack of East Carolina. They've got length, they've got coverage ability, and I tell you what, they're going to need some help from their guys up front. But Ryan Smith and Michael Jones are two guys to keep your eyes on.
And you are going to see and hear one of the most enthusiastic audiences in all of college football when we return. Kickoff is next.
Take it easy.
Have you seen many head coaches come out of the smoke and egg on the crowd? That's head coach here at East Carolina, Ruffin McNeil, starting his 5th year. And any program that starts out by playing Hendricks to get the crowd fired up works well for me. This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week, continuing tonight from Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium in Greenville. Recently added a few extra seats, and you're now the capacity at 50,000. They'll get just about every seat filled here tonight. Meantime, for North Carolina Central, his first game as a college head coach, Jerry Mack, a graduate of Arkansas State. He played his football there. Was most recently at South Alabama as a wide receivers coach.
Yeah, talking with him yesterday, he's a guy that talked about, hey, look, we got to focus on execution. I just want to make sure that that's where our mindset is. If we execute, we got a chance to be in this football game.
And Ruffin McNeil, who came from Texas Tech in some unusual circumstances following the dismissal of Mike Leach. He coached a bowl game, didn't get the main job, was almost ready to go to Stanford to work for Jim Harbaugh, but instead got the call to come to East Carolina, and he led them to 10 wins last year.
Yeah, this is coming home for Coach McNeil, too. What a great job he's done. Offensively, they've always been explosive, known for speed and a dynamic attack. But what he's really done is change the defensive philosophy here. And each year it's gotten better. With the addition of Rick Smith as defensive coordinator, I tell you what, both sides of the ball are potent.
You see the weather, it's really nice out right here. We hopefully those storms will stay away. East Carolina won the toss. They'll send Breon Allen, number 25, out to receive. And on the short side, Isaiah Jones, in case this is a short kickoff. And that's an interesting stat right there. 24 straight games. Somebody needs to take those coins and go to the nearest casino and try their luck there.
Tails never fails.
Apparently not. North Carolina Central from the MEAC. East Carolina now in the American Athletic Conference, and we are ready to roll. Purple and gold everywhere. One little area of maroon tucked in for the Central fans. Short kick taken by Isaiah Jones. And Jones is not going to get very far at all. Stopped there by Reggie Hunter, linebacker out of Henderson, South Carolina. So now our first look at the senior from Houston, Texas, Shane Carden, number 5.
I tell you, he really is a dark horse Heisman Trophy candidate type of talent. This guy can do it all, and he has done it all in his career, too. He's athletic, a dual threat guy. He can throw from the pocket, evade the rush, and he can also throw on the run as well. He's an exciting player that's very accurate as well.
Chris Hairston opens as the tailback in a bit of a modified pistol formation. He's number 22 in the purple. Carton on the run. He can beat you with his feet as well. Good coverage downfield. He'll go underneath to his man, Justin Hardy. And it'll be second down coming up, a gain of 4. And that now is catch number. He's got only one more to go, I believe, Hardy, till he ties the all-time school record.
That's right. And I tell you what, they will go tempo. They're a very fast operating offense. And Carton knows exactly how to run this thing.
This time he has more time. He has the first down and a little bit more. Catch made by Cam Worthy, a senior from Blair, South Carolina. Pick up a 20 in the first down of the game.
They have speed, size, and talent on the perimeter with their wide receivers. Cam Worthy is 6'3", 220 pounds. And you see him go up, make the catch, and ability to break tackles.
And quickly, East Carolina goes to the huddle. Now, Garden slows them down a little bit. Justin Hardy off to his right in single formation. Play action fake, looking all the way, and deep for Hardy. Has to step on his man. Now the ball underthrown and knocked away. Crowd is not going to get interference as Michael Jones, a second-team All-MEAC corner, defended it.
And that's a matchup we were talking about right there. Michael Jones, one of their best covered DBs. He's a guy that's got next-level skills. And you see him go man-to-man with Justin Hardy and high point the football, become the defender, and disrupt that catch down the field.
Second down and 10 coming up. Now Hairston and Marquez Grayson, number 27, two tailbacks into the game. But Carton still looking to throw. Escaping the pass rush. On the run, throws behind. It'll be third down and 10. Receiver slipped. That was Davon Grayson, a sophomore receiver. So third and 10 is next. Jordan Miles putting on the pressure.
I tell you, you can tell already just how aggressive this offense is. Offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley, coming from Texas Tech, has that air raid background, but they're doing a lot of play action in the backfield and looking downfield. Shane Carton is checking downfield, looking for the big shot early on in this game.
That flag's down. That may have been contact, or it could be a false start. No, the head linesman is calling this a false start. It'll be third and 15.
False start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Remains. Third down.
There's Ed Ardito. I think a lot of college football fans know him. He's been officiating college football games for quite some time.
And you'll see Isaiah Jones. Receiver bobbed, and it's looks like the defender might have drawn him off. It's hard to say it draws off a wide receiver. Boy, you can't listen to the count. You're just watching the ball.
Garden fires, and it's knocked away. Excellent defense that time by Cameron Hughes, number 17. A redshirt senior from Charlotte knocking it loose, and East Carolina picked up one first down, but now they're going to have to bring out Worth Gregory, their punter. 3 straight incompletions for Garden. And
that's one area where Central felt like they could match up. In their defensive backfield, they like their speed and athleticism.
Adrian Wilkins. Oh, folks, we haven't even told you about this guy yet. Do not go away when he is back deep to receive a kickoff or a punt. He returned 5 kicks for touchdowns last year, 3 kickoffs and 2 punts. Let's see what the strategy is here for the Pirates. What will they do with Wilkins? Well, they're going to have a flag. What they may have done is taken too much time, or a false start again.
False start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. Remains. Fourth down.
Well, Ruffin McNeil is going to be very disappointed in the execution of his team on this drive. Now 4th and 20, and there is Wilkins, blindingly fast.
Hey, Wilkins, he had 5 kick returns for touchdowns last year. This guy is quick and he's fast. He's got the ability to make the first guy miss, which all great kick returners can do.
And by the way, this grass field, we were on it yesterday, is in outstanding condition. It is a fast track. Let's see if Wilkins has a chance here. He does. To the 30, 35. Wilkins makes another man miss. 40. Wilkins will run into traffic at the 45-yard line. Yep. He's good. Hairston making the stop. Adrian Wilkins, as advertised, giving the visitors excellent field position. 22 yards on this return. Kind of hope we get to see him return a few more tonight. It'll be the Central's ball when we come back.
And so the conversation turned
going with a freshman, Brad Kaya at quarterback. True freshman playing. That'll be really interesting. First look at Quinn Billerman, a junior college transfer, number 8. He comes out firing and gets it to Anas Hasek, another junior college transfer, and he'll get a first down into East Carolina territory, a gain of 20.
And you see Billerman right away just take the snap and take the easy completion off the edge. Soft coverage, just a little hitch route to his wide receiver, break a tackle. That's how you get things started.
A lot of junior college transfers on the offensive side for first-year head coach Jerry Mack, particularly at receiver. Now on the ground, that's Andre Clark, and he'll get across the 35 and 32. Jonathan White on the stop. Set us up for second down and about 6. And here's Billerman, a junior. He is from Raleigh, North Carolina. That's about an hour and a half, depending on how fast you like to drive from Greenville. But he transferred from the New Mexico Military Institute and had some big numbers there last year, 34 touchdowns.
So he'll use a 2-quarterback system. He's more of the pocket guy.
Malcolm Bell may be seen at times, number 12, and we're going to have a false start penalty.
False start, offense, number 69. It's a 5-yard penalty, second down.
First weekend of college football jitters. It's been happening all weekend long. Boy, those ones hurt too. Right when you get in the green zone, you're starting to get close to the red zone area around the 20-30. You can't afford a penalty. You're at a chance where you can come away with points.
So that moves it to second down and 11 for Billerman and this Eagles offense. Fires again toward the sideline. If that's in bounds, it's a short gain. It is. The catch made by Jazz King. Speaking of another player who wasn't here last year, he was on the Thundering Herd at Marshall.
That's right. A transfer that really helped him out. You know, Coach Jerry Mack felt like they had to do something, left some scholarships open until he found out what his roster was like, where he was lacking, so he brought in some guys before fall camp.
Got to start thinking 2-down territory for NC Central. You're trying to pull the upset here. If you don't do much on third down, you have a kicker who's never kicked in a varsity college football game before. You may be thinking 2-down territory here.
Yeah, and if you know you're going to do that, boy, it really helps.
Got to hurry, and they get it off with 1 second to go. Billerman steps up, and down he goes at the 34-yard line. Fred Presley, a sophomore, had 1 sack last year. He's got 1 sack tonight. It'll be 4th down and about 7, maybe 8.
You could tell Quinn Billerman really wanted the football, too. He knew the clock was running down, and it was going in his head as well. Critical 3rd down. Boy, coverage downfield. Can't afford to take a sack right there, which he did.
And North Carolina Central brings out the kicking team, but they bring out the punter, Nathaniel Tilkey. And looks like they're going to deliberately take the penalty here. Justin Hardy is back deep, and they may just take the delay of game, move it back 5 yards, and give the punter more room to work, and that's exactly the strategy here.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And these are the type of things that Jerry Mack, head coach Jerry Mack, was talking about, of not beating ourselves. Execution, boy, you get down into enemy territory, you got to find a way to come away with points. Sack and a penalty hurt you.
Hardy, by the way, talking about good kick returners, averaged 11 yards per kick return last year for the Pirates. He stands at the 10 now. So I may have seen him drop the nose of the football on the toe, and an excellent job by the coverage team there to get it inside the 10-yard line. That ball is down at the 6 after a 33-yard punt. Poor field position for Shane Harden as C.J. Moore downs it for the Eagles. Second possession for the Pirates coming up when we return.
It's the model year end, and we're unleashing.
We are back here in Greenville, North Carolina. There's your score and time, and Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week continuing here. ESPN College Football, the Pirates and the Eagles. Great crowd on hand here in Greenville. Gorgeous night, temperature right around 80 degrees. Excellent field position for the defense for North Carolina Central. East Carolina, fast-moving team. They're in a little bit of trouble here with the possession, but they get out of it with a combination of Carton to Hardy, and Hardy made the first man miss. They get outside the 20 to the 25 to the 27-yard line as he is finally brought down, and he is now tied for the most catches in East Carolina history after a 20-yard pickup.
And you'll see Hardy right here. He's got great hands, long arms, big hands, and he is put together. You see his ability to make people miss, and then he's aggressive down the field.
We'll see if they go for that record. No, they go on the ground. I haven't seen much of that yet in the early part of the game. And a 4-yard pickup. Now the ball came out. North Carolina Central taking this thing into the end zone. The ruling on the field is a touchdown. C.J. Moore, 32-yard fumble return. Watch for Felix Small here to force this fumble, number 42.
There he is, right here, screen number 42. Boy, that's heads-up play, raking the football, and right to his partner, C.J. Moore is going to take it in for 6.
Never heard a whistle. Now, I believe this is going to get some further attention from the replay booth.
Previous play is under further review. Ruling on the field is a fumble and a recovery by the defense.
Michael Semcheski is the replay operator. Again, the whistle never blew. So a critical replay early on.
And you'll see Felix Small right there. He is going to rake that football free. The question is, was Hairston down?
Well, that's Allen, 25, Doc. I apologize. Allen, 25. And, boy, that's going to be, what do you think that's going to be too hard to overturn?
Yeah, well, the ruling on field was there's no whistle, it was a fumble, return for a touchdown. And so, indisputable video evidence, I don't see anything there that tell you it was anything else.
Yeah, with Allen's first carry of the night, Hairston had started the game. They had substituted. They plan on liberally substituting their tailbacks, maybe as many as 4. But at the moment, there are bigger things on the mind of Ruffin McNeil here on the lower box on your right-hand side. Although he doesn't seem to show it as he converses casually with a side judge. But let's take another look at it and see what happened one more time. Is the knee down? I would say you're going to uphold that call.
Yeah, it looks like the ball is coming out and the knee has not touched the ground yet. Officials got it right. I believe this call will be confirmed.
There's 3 ways it can go. Confirmed means the replay booth completely agrees with the call. The call stands means we can't overturn it. There's not enough evidence. Or obviously the third choice is overturned. We have enough evidence to overturn it.
How about Central coming in here? A couple big plays.
After review, the ruling on the field stands, a recovery and a touchdown.
So there's a little bit of a stunner. People are going to be checking their phones and looking for college football scores, and they're going to see that one and be a little bit surprised, although we have a long way to go, obviously, in this first quarter. But, David, I think you made a great point. NC Central not intimidated by this 50,000-seat environment they're playing in.
Tip your hat in the first-year coach, Jerry Mack, of getting his team ready early, and he said, hey, I just want to focus on execution. Even though they had the hiccup down here, their defense came in, has been defending one of the top offenses in the country.
Well, it was noisy at the start of the game, and the fans in a little bit of stunned silence right here as C.J. Moore. That's 20 touchdowns in the last 24 games on defense or special teams for North Carolina Central. They've got this down to a science, and they have the early lead. Early on here, a little bit of a surprise at the MEAC, NC Central with a scoop and score touchdown, more like a strip and score touchdown, 7-0. And then they had a little replay review, and there's the reaction from C.J. Moore, who ran that in for a score.
Yeah, he's a veteran back there in that secondary, one of those safeties in that 4-2-5 defense. He's all over the field for them, and he was in the right place at the right time there.
We mentioned the proclivity of NC Central over the years to score in sudden and occasionally unexpected ways. Defense and special teams, that's remarkable. In the last 23 games, they've had 3 blocked field goal returns, 3 interception returns, and now 2 fumble returns in 24 games. Jones on the kickoff return. Little hole there at the 20, skirts through to the 25 and beyond, and Jones running tough Gets outside the 35 to the 36-yard line. That's a 31-yard kickoff return before he's brought down by Deonta Wright.
Jones, another one of those wide receivers that has a whole lot of skill. Down on the field before the game, looking at Jones and Hardy and all these guys, there are some long, athletic, angular-looking guys that can run with the ball.
But that's what Ruffin McNeil likes. His father was a basketball coach. He has talked repeatedly about how his father was a huge influence on his coaching style and in his life.
And what he looks for in athletes, and it shows on the field, all over, defense and offense.
All right, one of their pet projects, freshman Anthony Scott, number 3, is in the backfield. He goes deep down the field. Meantime, back the other way, Carden gets it in the hands of Avon Grayson, and Grayson will have a first down at the 47-yard line. That's 2 catches already for Grayson.
And you'll see Shane Carden right there was looking for the wheel right, shot play down, sitting downfield. It wasn't there, so he hit his check down to his wide receiver.
Yeah, they love Scott, number 3. They think he's got incredible speed. At the moment, though, he is swallowed up, and he has nothing going there. Darius Spruill and Felix Small in there on the stop. That's going to be a loss of a couple, 2nd and 12.
Well, Anthony Scott's one of those guys. He's a 3-star running back from Virginia Beach, and he's a guy that had offers to go other places, but because of the wins they've been able to put together, the momentum this program's been getting, and the kind of crowds they draw, one of the reasons why he came here.
Breon Allen now back into the game. He stays in to pass protect. Does a good job with that as Carden flips it out to the left side of the field. The catch made by Cam Worthy right at the marker. They're going to say he's out of bounds short of it, though. Let's make sure on the spot. And it'll be 3rd and inches.
Cam Worthy doing a great job of coming back to his quarterback on that.
And they did give them the first down, and they had to hurry on the spot as Allen bounces outside. Breaks 1 tackle and gets down for just about another 10-yard gain and a first down. Michael Jones on the stop.
Watch this mass substitution right now. See if there's any confusion on Central's part. Will they get caught with too many guys on the field? This is where the up-tempo offense gets you.
And another running back. So they're swapping running backs out like mad. Chris Hairston, 22 into the game. That's the 3rd RB on this drive already. Slant pattern caught in the 25. That's Hardy. And it looks like another first down, and he is the all-time. Nope, that is Isaiah Jones, number 7. That was not a 2. That was Isaiah Jones. Tackle made by C.J. Moore. No huddling here. First down. Hardy on the near side, the next number 2. The next pass he catches will break Dwayne Harris's record. Harden 6 of 9 for 90 yards.
A little confusion by Central where they're lining up. Trying to disguise what they're doing. Looks like man coverage across the board.
Plenty of time for Carden. On the run, and a catch made inbounds. Grayson one more time, now inside the 20 to the 18. It'll be 2nd down and about 6.
Great example of Carden right there, of creating with his legs and running the scramble drill with his wide receivers.
Now another running back joins in, 26, Corey Hunter. He's in there along with Hairston. Play fake to Hairston, middle of the field, incomplete, 3rd and 6 coming up. Worthy looking at the official like, you mean Nolan Corpening wasn't holding me? 3rd and 6.
Central playing tight man-to-man coverage, and Carden had nowhere to go. And this play happened earlier on the scramble. You can see it. Everyone's covered. Now Carter's going to escape, break down. Eventually your coverage will break down. Wide receiver comes back to his quarterback, makes completion for a little chunky yardage.
Carden going for the end zone. Battle for it in the corner. The catch is out of bounds. Cam Worthy made an amazing catch, but the field judge says it was out of bounds. It'll be 4th down and 6. Corpening on the coverage, number 36.
And you'll see Carden, he bobbled that snap, panicking to get it up, but throws the ball accurately downfield. And what a catch, and what Cam Worthy being able to track that ball over his outside shoulder. That is as hard as it gets, just out of bounds though.
Good call by the official. Here's the veteran kicker from Greenville right here, Warren Harvey, the senior, 15 of 25 last year. 34-yard attempt. The punter, Worth Gregory, who was with Alabama last year but did not play, is the holder and hold everything.
Timeout, East Carolina. That's their first It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Should say Gregory
Correction.
set
It'll
out
be a
last year.
1-minute timeout.
And was with Alabama the season before. He actually, although he did not play, picked up a championship ring in Alabama's run. Well, if you're a hoops fan, this is basketball's 24/7 every day of the year, it seems like. Coverage of the FIBA Basketball World Cup continuing Sunday on ESPN. Team USA taking the court against Turkey in a preliminary round game. USA versus Turkey Sunday at 3:30 on ESPN. Also, of course, available live on Watch ESPN. A routine win for the U.S. today.
Over Finland. Part of my ancestry. I'm half Finnish.
Really?
Yeah. You'd never guess it, would you?
No, I wouldn't. I look more half finished than you
Yes,
do,
you
brother.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mexican comes out in me just a little bit more.
Well, let's see what. There might have been an instance here, David, they just weren't satisfied with the amount of people they had on the field. May not have been enough. They certainly have enough now, or maybe they're cooking in a fake here. It's low and doinks in. Not pretty, but it works, and the Pirates are on the board for the first time this season on the 34-yard line driver by Warren Harvey. We'll see the challenge of kicking to Adrian Wilkins next.
I don't know how you can be a gamer, really, if you don't have game fly. You're going to rent it all, and you want selection.
And the NC Central band is here, and so are we. NC Central in front 7-3 after a 9-play, 47-yard drive and 2:59, and Harvey with a 34-yard field goal. Is it the shoes? And he got the correct side of that upright. The other side of it, not going to work quite so well, but it'll do.
Good operations and just banked it in.
Hey.
You got to call glass first.
On the scoreboard, that was a 50-yarder that boomed through with 10 yards to spare. So here's Adrian Wilkins, number 21, and he's joined by Michael Jones, number 1. And I would imagine the Pirate coaches have said, would you kick it to number 1? I'm sure he's good, but he's not this guy. And what he did last year led the MEAC in all-purpose yards. Had 3 kickoff returns for a touchdown. What's the strategy? They're going to rip it toward Wilkins. No? Yes? To the 10, 15, 20. Hole opens up, 25. He bangs around outside the 30 to the 31-yard line. So let's say this for East Carolina. They're not afraid to test the dangerous Adrian Wilkins. So East Carolina scoring 9 plays, 47 yards. Still not running the ball, but not really calling very many running plays with the Pirates. The last time North Carolina Central had the football, they picked up 20 on their first play and then shot themselves in the foot with some mistakes. We'll see what they do here with much worse field position back at the 31. Deontay Wright is at the tailback position. Billerman remains the quarterback. That's a flip to Wright. Running behind some big linemen there, and he'll get a couple of yards to the 33. It'll be 2nd and 8 coming up. Brandon Williams from his buck linebacker position making the stop. Darius James, number 69. Big fella in the gray for NC Central, leading the way that time at the left guard position. There he is, standing up. Fake. Billerman, down he goes. 25-yard line. No stopping Monteith Overton that time. The junior from Greenville almost unblocked.
Monteith Overton is a guy they're excited. Last year he had 10.5 tackles for a loss. Part-time play. Been chomping at the bit to become the guy, and he is there. You see him beat the back one-on-one, which he should do every time. Great job at coming in for the sack and getting home.
7-yard loss. Overton had 6 sacks last season. And he just overwhelmed the blocker, Wright. Pressure up the middle, they screen it out to right, look! Oh, that's a huge hit to Sean Amos. Loss of 4, the last 2 plays, -11 for the Eagles.
This defense is getting cranked up. And you'll see Amos come up and just make a hit. Wrapping up, saw the screen, timed it up, and delivered the blow.
So should be good field position for the Pirates. Really hardly any breeze to talk about to affect the kickers tonight. Tilke gets a low snap. Ooh, nice little catch there by Justin Hardy. One-handed scoop, and he'll get to the 44-yard line. Well, this Sunday night, the heat is on in Atlanta. The drama heightens with only 2 races till the playoffs. Casey Kane, Austin Dillon, and of course available live on Watch ESPN. And certainly we can't also forget the return of Tony Stewart to NASCAR racing following the tragic accident from a few weeks ago. We'll see how he performs getting back on the track.
Yeah, interesting to see his press conference the other day.
Shane Carden, and that's going to be a handoff to Chris Hairston. Hairston covers it with both hands. You see a flag flying in. He gets across the 50 for a gain of 7, but let's see if this play comes back.
See, there's going to be a holding call.
Personal foul, leg whip, number 74 on the offense. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's the center, Taylor Hudson.
I tell you, you're going to see number 74 right here. Look at him in the middle of your screen. Go down and raise that right leg up. I used to do that all the time. They call it more and more these days, though.
Should you admit that publicly? That's how you got those Super Bowl rings for the Broncos. Huh? Right. It wasn't Elway, it was
our
your
whole
leg
team
whips.
did it. Half the stuff we used to do is illegal now.
So the stories are true about you guys, huh?
Absolutely.
First and 25. And now all your old teammates are going to be texting you about giving out trade secrets. Breon Allen, the tailback, 25. He'll get the shovel pass. Put a couple of good moves on to get to the 35-yard line for a gain of 6. And Josh Wade making the stop, number 46 there. Interesting to see how this middle is going to be tested. They're not the biggest in the middle as a nose guard and defensive tackle positions. North Carolina Central. Second and 19. Middle of the field, wide open. That's Jones. He'll break some tackles and get down to the 41-yard line. It's a 23-yard pickup and a first down for the Pirates, and nobody was near Jones that time until C.J. Moore brought him down.
And you'll see Jones come down. They got someone clearing down low, and Jones right behind him over the middle of the field for the catch.
And a handoff to Breon Allen. They're going to run a little bit of a reverse with the pass. That's Hardy. Down deep, wide open is Jones. Touchdown, East Carolina.
You'll see Hardy come back around, and the thing he does a great job of putting plenty of air on the ball when you have the receiver wide open. Allow him, give him time to adjust to it, lay it up there. That was good for 6.
Some offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley calls the trick play, and it works perfectly. And Justin Hardy knows how to throw the football. If you watch the Beef O'Brady's Bowl, East Carolina fans certainly remember that Hardy can pitch it. PAT is tacked on. It's 3 plays, 56 yards, in a minute and 27 seconds. And that is more of the kind of pace that East Carolina scores at. They are not a team that runs you lots of long drives.
And you'll see the reverse right there. And Justin Hardy, Mr. Do Everything. Look at him. Nice ball. Plenty of air. That's the one you can't miss.
3 catches, 77 for Isaiah Jones, a sophomore from Austin, Texas, who originally started his college career at Stephen F. Austin. And we were telling you about East Carolina doing things quickly. You see their average, 7 minutes and 2:29. They didn't get to 6 minutes last season on any of their touchdown drives. That last one was just under a minute and 30 seconds, at 1:27 to be exact.
They averaged 7 plays in 2 minutes and 29 seconds on, on almost every possession. I mean, that's operating at a high level. It's not only a fast pace, but the efficiency of what they're doing. I mean, fast doesn't do you any good if you're not efficient. These guys operate at a fast tempo and are very efficient. You know, moving the ball down the field. They're aggressive in their play calling. They take shots. They're not afraid to throw a gadget in either.
So once again, it's Jones and Wilkins back deep. First lead for East Carolina tonight. And Wilkins going to chase this one down deep. He's going to run it out from 3 yards deep. And the hold evaporated quickly. He won't get very far. He got overwhelmed by the ECU special teams. Joe Alley, number 57, brought him down, a reserve linebacker who's going to get plenty of action tonight. So the field position for the Eagles, Dave, gets worse and worse as the game goes on. Now they're back to the 13-yard line.
Well, this defense for the Pirates has been coming alive. Took them a little while, but I tell you what, that special teams play right there, they've been aggressive, making some hits, big plays, to see if they can carry this momentum forward right now and stifle this Central offense.
Andre Clark is the tailback. 3 receivers to the left of the quarterback, Quinn Billerman. He'll conservatively hand it off to Andre Clark. And Clark will maybe get 2 yards to the 15. 2nd and 8 coming up, and the emotion beginning to come out. DeAndre Hooker on the stop. 166 total yards for East Carolina and 19 for Central. Another handoff. Clark having a hard time finding a hole. Made a good play just to get maybe 3 that time. Up 2 more, they're going to say. 3rd and 6 coming up. Running it just up the gut. Brandon Williams in there the other time.
Timeout. North Carolina Central.
So Jerry Mack, who is not only functioning as the head coach here, Dave, but also he's calling the plays. He is the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and we talked to him about that, what kind of adjustment he's had to make as being the head coach, the CEO, running operations and everything, and still coordinating the offense. He says, look, we have a collaborative effort between our offensive staff. We compile the ideas, we put together. So really anyone on our offensive staff has enough knowledge, they should be able to call the offense. So he relies and trusts his position coaches to be heavily involved in their scheming of the offense and developing of the game plan.
We'll be curious to see as the season goes on for Central how that, if there are changes made. I mean, this is his first game as a head coach. Again, he's not a stranger to the sport, of course. He graduated in 2003 from Arkansas State, a strong Sun Belt program. We'll see how it goes throughout the year for the Eagles. At the moment, they're in a little bit of trouble. Billerman in a lot of trouble. A screen pass set up nicely to Wright, and Wright will get the first down. Zeke Bigger brought him down. The crowd got excited for a second, but it's an 8-yard pickup. Deontay Wright, a junior from Charlotte, getting the first down.
And how do you help out your offensive line and your offense when the defense is starting to tee off on you? Oh boy, you throw in a screen, take advantage of the aggressiveness of the defense, that defensive line shooting up the field, dump it off. Big 3rd down conversion.
Millerman's 4 of 4 for 26 yards. And he's also been sacked twice. Plenty of time, and catch is made. That's Adrian Wilkins. He's also a fine receiver. He had 37 catches last year, and he gets 11 and maybe 12, and it's a first down.
And you'll see protection by the offensive line. Just a 3-man rush. You've got to dominate that. They do. Gives Billerman time to find Wilkins underneath on the crossing route.
90 seconds left in this quarter. NC Central scored first on a scoop and score. All sorts of whistles and a flag. False start.
False start, offense, number 9. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Drive killers, momentum killers for an offense that's just got a little something going. And what that does for your percentages of chances to score, very detrimental.
3 penalties for both sides, 25 yards against East Carolina, 15 against North Carolina Central. Billerman steps into the throw, fires, good looking throw that time. Forced out of bounds is Hossack. There is a flag down. You see right there as Hossack walks by, number 9. Dietrich Allen on the coverage. And by the noise being made here.
Pass interference, offense, number 9. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, junior out of Phoenix, Scottsdale CC making a mistake here.
They're going to say he pushed off on the comeback. We'll see it. Boy, what a throw by Billerman.
You know, there was a call this morning in the Penn State UCF game that was very similar to that. And Ed Cunningham, I remember, was calling the game with Mike Patrick, and he wasn't real crazy about the call. And
I'm going to say that had something to do with that brace right there on his right arm. It's pretty easy for the official to see.
I guess so. Look at this now, 1st and 30, under a minute to go in the quarter. Billerman quickly in traffic. That's Wilkins. And he'll pick up just a couple, and that's going to be it. He is squashed by Zeke Bigger, number 44. Second and extremely long. And Billerman may just let this thing run out. The 40-second clock was shut off, and that's exactly what's going to happen. NC Central scored first. East Carolina has come back with a gadget play that worked beautifully on a Justin Hardy to Isaiah Jones touchdown pass. Purple haze tonight. And at the moment, NC Central appears to have their offense in a haze, and not the good kind. They're struggling to move the football after a fast start with a defensive touchdown. Oh, no. So in the first quarter, DDI, we had a standard, I guess, for NC Central. Another touchdown return by their defense.
Yeah, C.J. Moore picks up the fumble, scoop and score to give Central the lead early on. And remember, this East Carolina team has a 22-game win streak against FCS teams. Goes back a long way, but the reverse pass from Hardy to Jones and a field goal gives them a 10-7 lead.
Funny you mention that, because the first time East Carolina played an FCS school back in the Division I AA days, they lost. Eastern Kentucky beat them in 1980, and they've, as you mentioned, won 22 straight since then. 2nd and 28 as we start the second quarter. Billerman with a shoulder shake. Over the top throw, and he's got a man. Ball's dropped. That would have been a first down, but Anas Hossack could not make the grab. He was covered by Dietrich Allen. But it was interesting that Jerry Mack made it kind of clear that he first looked at his wide receivers when he first got the job and went, this isn't going to do. And he made some changes and brought in several community college players.
Well, it's really a smart move of holding back some scholarships so he found out and evaluated what he thought of his personnel, then addressed some of those weaknesses before fall camp with some junior transfer guys.
Hossack being one of them from Scottsdale CC in the Phoenix area. And they'll run the draw. With Andre Clark, he showed some toughness getting popped there by Dominique Lennon, number 31, but they'll be well short of the first down. The idea there just not to do anything silly, just to get a few yards to make it easier for the punter.
I tell you, you're going to watch this. Hopefully we have the sound on. You're going to see Dominique Lennon come up, and that is an unguided missile right there. That's a collision. There is no fear.
So Tilkey to punt. Justin Hardy, the 35-yard line. We mentioned he's a dangerous football player, period. He's already thrown for a touchdown tonight and is on the verge of breaking the East Carolina all-time record. He's got, 82, 81 catches to go to catch Ryan Broyles for the all-time college football receptions record. And this time he's going to let it go as this bounces the other direction and in favor of the Pirates at the 46-yard line. So excellent field position for the Pirates on offense for Shane Carden. after only a 23-yard punt.
It's the model year end.
Great crowd on hand here at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. Welcome us back to ESPN College Football, Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week, early in the second quarter. Joined by Dave Diaz-Infante, I'm Dave Lamont, and our ESPN crew. We thank you for coming along, too, on a beautiful Saturday night in Greenville. Pirates with great field position at the 46-yard line following the short punt. It's a screen pass to Chris Hairston. There's a flag down. Hairston's going to get a lot of yardage out of this, but it may always come back. Hairston's going to get inside the 20. Salutes the crowd, but flag back at the 41-yard line. And there's one guy who stayed back, Dave, and that's Shane Carton. He knows it's against the Pirates.
Yeah, it's Taylor Hudson.
Illegal block in the back, number 74. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, it's one of the ones you just got to throw your arms up and run by the guy because you cannot get there. You got to hope your guy can make a miss. Official right there to throw the flag. You'll see the back in the block right there against number 51. Darius Sproul.
So instead of a big gainer, would have been 39 yards and a first down in the red zone. We're going to be looking at first down and 20 from the 34-yard line of the 36-yard line of the Pirates. Breon Allen and Marquez Grayson now, the tailbacks. This is Allen. Bounces off one, hanging in there, and he squirts through a small hole and gets to the 42-yard line. That's a gain of 6. Second down at about 14. Saeed Muhammad, a redshirt senior from Charlotte, making the stop. And Ruffin McNeil has had some penalties that have not made him very happy.
Yeah, negative yardage plays are one way to get your coach and your offense, your coach angry and your offense behind the sticks. And there it is. You can see the disgust.
Good bit of fake by Carden that time on the run. He's got a little room if he wants to run, and he sort of ad-libbed a pass there. He wasn't going to get a whole lot of yards out of there and just threw it away. So it'll be third down and 16. Well, what did he say to us yesterday? He's a very jovial man, by the way. Very interesting guy to talk to. But there was another side of him. He said, you don't want to see that side of me. You don't want to. We want to keep him in the closet so he doesn't get angry and come out.
That's right.
You
don't want to see the rough side of rough.
That's it, the rough side, yeah. The rough side, he likes to stash the rough side away. But I think the rough side's going to make an appearance in the locker room if East Carolina doesn't tighten up some of the mistakes. Carden's got a little pocket, and he stepped right into the defense, and down he goes. So NC Central, Felix Small, number 42, one of the tacklers there. He's the one who ripped the fumble out, joined by D. Harris.
Yeah, they go 3-by-2, empty. Look at the line stunts up front that collapses the pocket. A great job of pursuit by Felix Small, staying after it. That's the kind of effort you got to have, because Shane Carden's a very mobile quarterback, has the ability to escape the rush.
And Darius Spruill also 51 in there. So here's Adrian Wilkins again, counting to make sure he's got enough bodies on the field. 2 touchdown returns for punts last year, 3 for kickoffs. This is a boomer. This is crushed. And Wilkins calls for the fair catch and just gets out of the way as that punt will go into the end zone. 64 yards. The many faces of head coach Ruffin McNeil of the East Carolina Pirates. Pumped up, excited, angry, pensive, and just flat out disgusted. Beautiful view here at Dowdy-Ficklin. Yeah, look at the purple and yellow or gold in here. If you didn't wear your purple or gold, you know you stand out in the stadium.
Hey, what a great game day atmosphere here. 50,000 strong, people tailgating. What a great scene there was. Student body out in force.
At tailback now, number 22, Shaheed Swinson for the visitors. North Carolina Central Eagles out of the MEAC, and they've played it tough so far. And they go to Swinson. He'll pick up a couple of yards. It'll be second down and 8. A little bit more about the home team tonight. East Carolina, Zeke Bigger made a stop there in Greenville. 27,000 students, and they are in the American Athletic Conference for the first time. They were a Conference USA team most recently. And Sandra Bullock, did you know that she is a grad?
I did know when I read the media guide, I found out.
Well, we just cannot slip anything by you. It's impossible.
Yeah, she just happened to catch my attention.
It's not the other way around, I can promise you that. Second down and 8.
Not yet. Sandra, if you're listening.
You know, there's an outside chance she is. Yeah. If your alma mater's on television, why not?
Go Pirates.
One more time, this is Swinson trying to escape, and this time he can't do it as Monteith Overton makes his second big play of the night. There's a flag down too. I'm sorry, Dave.
Monteith Overton, number 51. They talked about his skill level. Now he's a full-time starter. He is all over the field. He's got length and speed.
There's no foul for a face mask. It's third down.
That's the 4th tackle for a loss by the defense. 2 sacks. Overton has one of them.
He's an outside linebacker that can cover. He can put his hand down the dirt and rush in their nickel package. They use him in a variety of ways. An excellent blitzer off the edges as well.
So it's back to 3rd down and 10. 1 out of 4 third down conversions for NCCU. Billerman hooks it to Swinson, gets away from one. He's got to get to the 30, and he can't. And that was Zeke Bigger, number 44, in there again. Fred Presley, 99, also helping out. It's going to be 4th down and just a little short of the 1st down. So once again, Nathaniel Tilkey, a freshman from Charlotte, will come out to punt. And Justin Hardy goes back to receive. How do you think Billerman throws the football?
I like what I've seen so far. I think he's shown some touch. He's evaded the rush up in the pocket when he could and thrown a couple nice outs, put it on a rope. He's all right.
It's a pretty good kick. High, got a little wobble to it. Hardy will chase it and make the catch, and he'll go for it here. He's got a lot of field to work with if he can run away left, and instead he got spun around a little bit, and it's a short return. Good coverage by North Carolina Central, pinning Hardy in there for a short gain. East Carolina's made their bones on defense tonight.
I tell you have, and this is a defense replacing 8 starters from last year, but a lot of these guys played a lot last year anyways, even though they weren't starters. Their defensive line is stout. They've got great speed and length of the linebackers, and they think their safeties are very physical. Great example right there, coming up and laying a lick. I like what they've done. They're an aggressive 3-4 defense. They believe in pressure, and I think it really complements your offense that's high scoring as you see the defense rallying up right there, talking about what's going on in the field.
Now, since Ruffin McNeil's arrival, as Cardin's in a little bit of trouble here, and he bounces that one incomplete, 2nd and 10. And the numbers for the defense, points allowed, yards allowed, have just shrunk. They've gone on a diet and giving up points in the last 5 years since Ruffin McNeil, who was the coordinator at Texas Tech for many years. He's been around the game for a long time.
It was interesting talking to him about, boy, a defensive coach, and you're running, an air raid, up-tempo offense. He goes, I know what it's like trying to defend that. It's tough.
Hardy going to throw this one a little bit deeper, and what a great catch by Hardy. And that is the East Carolina all-time record-breaking Dwayne Harris's mark. Muhammad on the stop.
And that's a former walk-on that still plays with the chip on his shoulder. They talk about his work ethic, his intensity, and how he sets the standard for those wide receivers.
He had 114 catches last year. 3 for 41 tonight. And that one is incomplete. A little bit low, and Jimmy Williams could not hang on. Senior from Vanceboro, North Carolina. Now needs 81 catches to catch Ryan Broyles from Oklahoma, who has the all-time record for college football. 114 last year. He's got a shot this year.
Oh, he's got a legitimate shot. The way they move the ball on offense and the relationship he has and chemistry with his quarterback, he will do it by the year's end.
And that developed when Cardin was not the starter, but when he was the scout team guy.
Yeah, they were running all over the place, Their first year as freshmen, and then second year Cardin was by himself, and he goes, man, it was tough without him when he was playing and I wasn't.
I'll tell you more about Cardin here in a second as he goes back to pass and guns it and has Isaiah Jones to the 40-yard line, 2 yards short of a first down. Cardin in the scout year wasn't always a quarterback, too. He sometimes played on the offensive line in the scout. He played multiple positions on the scout team.
Played wide receiver, played wherever they asked him to, never said a peep about it, bided his time, and when he got in there, he was tough to take out.
Well, just a couple of yards to go here. We'll see if the NC Central defense can hang in, and they do. as they whip to Marquez Grayson, and it's going to be close. Theo Livingston and Josh Wade coming in. This is going to be an interesting spot. 4th down. You see the official with the closed fist signifying 4th down. I've got to think East Carolina will go for it.
They will go for it. Talking to Coach McNeil, Ruffin, he said, hey, I'm not afraid to go for it. We'll go for it a lot. That's just our mentality. We know what we have offensively. We got a lot of faith in our quarterback.
We just saw the offensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley, trying to figure out exactly how much distance. In the meantime, NC Central is going to call a timeout, leaving them with just 1.5.
Timeout, North Carolina Central.
So they might want to put in some different personnel. They only brought 61 players here.
Excuse me, that's their second. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Well, tune in Sunday on ESPN2 as Michael Brantley and the Indians take the field against Alex Gordon and the Royals. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The Cleveland Indians versus the Kansas City Royals in the American League.
I tell you what, and Shane Carden's nickname and how people address him is Captain, the Captain. Not only is he the captain, and if someone calls you that's your nickname, you're in pretty good company, aren't you? Derek Jeter, the captain, right? And I tell you what, that means you handle yourself on and off the field the way you're supposed to. You are a true leader.
East Carolina's had some NFL talent here. Jeff Blake, David Garrard, you see he's got the all-time record, but Carden is going to sneak it here and get a little push in the back from Anthony Scott to help things along. And looking at the officials coming in, that should be a 1st down. And it is. And we have a NC Central player slow to get up. A little push in the back never hurt. And the injured player is Ty Brown, former linebacker, a redshirt senior from Charlotte, now playing the defensive end position. It's a good opportunity for NC Central fans, too, to come over into Greenville and get a chance to see their team against FBS competition. And glad to see, looks like he's going to get it back up. Meantime, Justin Hardy tonight has broken the all-time record at East Carolina for most catches. And he's thrown a touchdown pass.
He's off to a pretty good start. When they said, well, first of all, this guy's an all-round athlete, too. You see his hand size, nice touch on the ball. They talk about his route running and then his aggressiveness when the ball is in the air, that competitive nature, and that's the one that set the record. Justin Hardy, former walk-on.
NFL chances for him?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why the scouts like him. He may not be the fastest guy, but he's fast enough and he's big enough so he's more than just a slot receiver, the Wes Welker type. He can play outside, inside. He's a route runner, and he's strong, and he plays strong.
Power formation here with Scott on the backfield, but Carden's going to take it deep, going to go for it all right here, down to the 5, and it's incomplete. Grayson was the intended receiver. He was tackled after the pass. And I don't think this was catchable anyway. The official kept the flag in the pocket.
Yeah, I don't think so. Max protection by East Carolina. And you see the ball down the field. It's a good 5 yards.
Ryan Smith in coverage, leading returning tackler who was a safety a season ago, now out there on the corner. In the ever-shuffling ECU tailback game, now it's Chris Hairston, number 22, at the top of that formation, but it'll be back to the air again. Catch made by Jimmy Williams. He'll get to the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 7. 3rd down coming up and 3 to go.
Central bringing pressure. They timed that little funnel screen to the wide receiver perfectly.
Again, you got to think it's 2-down territory. 9th play of the drive coming up. Carden got hit after the throw, lobs it up, and there's your flag. Michael Jones made some contact, it looked like, with Cam Worthy. We'll confirm if it's offensive pass interference or defensive pass interference.
Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
And Carden got hit right after he threw this ball.
Yeah, Darius Sproul, number 51, is going to come in and give him a lick to the blind side. Right in the back. tell you, the underthrown ball and man-to-man coverage, the hardest thing to defend for a defensive back.
So another big penalty in NC Central, and that really might have been the biggest enemy at times, has been themselves.
Yep.
So the field position following the penalty, the 15-yard line, 5 penalties, 45 yards, and another whistle here. And the last time out of the half called by the Eagles.
North Carolina Central. That's their third. And it'll be a 30-second timeout.
Could have sworn that Jerry Mack just looked at the official and said, who called timeout? Because I didn't call timeout.
Well, it looked like there was a little confusion defensively for the Eagles and how to line up to that empty set, 3-by-2. There's some confusion in the secondary. Good time to use that timeout right there in the red zone.
Well, he's schooling him right now. He's not pleased. Now, NC Central in Durham, North Carolina, founded in 1909, enrollment a little over 8,000. And Maynard Jackson, one-time mayor of Atlanta, is a very famous graduate of NC Central. So that's a very reasonable car ride for the folks here at NC Central to come over to Greenville, but I imagine tickets here are scarce.
Yeah, this is one of the hottest tickets in town. It's the only show in town, too. It's a great thing about Greenville.
That's a big help. Anything that's like a college town, when you are it, and if you're performing well, and East Carolina was a 10-win team last year, had a dramatic 20-point fourth-quarter bowl victory over Ohio in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl in St. Petersburg. You got a lot of momentum here for this football team. And now a new conference and some high hopes. 1st and 10. So the Eagles are out of timeouts.
See man coverage across the board with a high safety.
Barton, quick delivery that time. Catch made by Isaiah Jones and a beautiful tackle in the open field that time. Ronald Conyers, number 33, the sophomore from Raleigh, making the stop.
And you'll see Conyers come over. Raleigh to the catch. Boy, he makes that tackle as Isaiah Jones thought he was going to get away.
Now, if he doesn't make that tackle, it could very well be a touchdown. Gain of 4 there. 2nd and 6. On the ground, and not much here for Breon Allen. And Conyers again, number 33, and just a little bit of pushing there. Nothing too bad. I think a lot of these players know each other from the days in the Carolinas. 3rd and 6 coming up. East Carolina substituting very frequently. Running backs, receivers. They now bring in 3 receivers who go to the right side. Jimmy Williams, Isaiah Jones, and Justin Hardy. Hardy in the middle of those 3 receivers. He's number 2 in the purple. Looking that way. And it's Hardy on the bubble screen. And he'll have the first down, it looks like. Tossed down by C.J. Moore. And it's a 1st down and goal, and very quickly come the Pirates at the line of scrimmage. Twelfth play of the drive here. It'll be a handoff. Allen, he's got it, untouched, touchdown, Pirates.
You can see the Eagles bring double A gap pressure up the middle. They get to the edge. No one's there to contain. An easy touchdown for the Pirates.
So Allen had 3 touchdowns on the ground last year. Caps off a 12-play, 65-yard drive in 3 minutes and 54 seconds. 3:54, a little bit longer than normal for East Carolina, but they're not going to throw it away. So now a little adversity thrown in the face of NC Central. They've hurt themselves with some mistimed penalties. Their offense is struggling just a little bit. How do they get any momentum back? Can they get momentum back? Well, they do have a dynamic kick returner in Adrian Wilkins who may be able to do that, but right now things are going ECU's way. They're up by 10. They look there at Breon Allen enjoying the afterglow of his 5-yard touchdown run. 17-7 Pirates.
And you'll see why Allen had such an easy time getting in the end zone. Here's 2 A-gap blitzers. The safety's back on this half. All they got to do is get to this edge. Everyone else is in coverage. And Breon Allen's going to get to the edge and have an easy time scoring.
So a major test right now for Jerry Mack's Eagles. Mack in his first season as the head coach, getting a chance to call the plays as the offensive coordinator and as the head coach. He sends Adrian Wilkins back. He of the 30-yard kick return average last year, 3 touchdown returns. Michael Jones, number 1, also in formation. But so far, the Pirates have not kicked away from Wilkins, and Wilkins isn't afraid to go a few yards deep in the end zone to run one out either. And he will run. No, he won't. Jones talked him out of it.
He wanted to.
Of course he did.
And all the great ones do, I tell you what. All the great ones do, boy. You've got to have a heart of gold, and there is no fear in those guys because that is a dangerous job, my friend.
Yeah, you can't have any fear if you sign up for the kick return team on any side of it, whether you're defending it or returning it. And there was some talk for NC Central, and I'm not saying it's going to happen now, and it's not, that we would see Malcolm Bell play some quarterback. He presents a different look, but it's been the JC transfer from the New Mexico Military Institute, Quinn Billerman, number 8, who has taken the ball all night so far. Very successful last year, threw for just under 3,000 yards and 34 touchdowns. And a little confusion perhaps in the pattern between Jazz King and Anas Hasek, King number 4, and it's 2nd and 10.
Well, that can happen too. Remember, both those guys are junior transfer guys too as well. So timing, all the things that you see on the East Carolina side sometimes can be a little bit lacking in terms of the chemistry between quarterback and wide receivers.
So a quick look at the total yards there, just 57 for North Carolina Central. Their touchdown, they had a 7-0 lead, was on a defensive play, a fumble return. From the empty backfield set, quick throw and knocked away. Right in front of the head coach, that'll make him happy. Williams knocking it loose, Brandon Williams, 3rd down and 10.
And that ball, Quinn Billerman, just a little bit behind Wilkins, doesn't allow him to hang on to the ball. Timed up that hit well by Brandon Williams.
Central just 20% on 3rd downs. Remember, they do not have any timeouts left in this half. Bubble screen dropped. 4th and 10 through the hands of Hasek.
That time Billerman threw that screen right into the teeth of the East Carolina defense.
Pass a little bit high. And that possession took 11 seconds off the game clock. That was it. Justin Hardy in single safety position. Better hurry. I don't know how that punt was partially blocked. And it's going to roll out of bounds in North Carolina Central territory at the 48. DeVaris Brunson got a piece of that right there, number 34. So it's the 2nd straight 23-yard punt by North Carolina Central. Watch 34 here. Took a little too long, and he got a piece of that. So once again, East Carolina has great field position. So you take a look at number 34, DeVaris Brunson. He got a hand on that punt. I thought that the punter, Tilkey, held on a little long.
A little casual in his approach there. But there's Brunson coming off the sidelines, and there's his coach, Coach Ruff, right there. Treats them like his sons. They have a family atmosphere. It's something, one of the principles he really believes in.
Well, as he said to us, he's the father, or the daddy, excuse me. The assistant coaches are the uncles. Carden over the middle, wide open, Jones. And he is hurled down at the 28-yard line by Jeremy Thompson. That's a 19-yard pickup. So East Carolina is starting to get the offense rolling. Of course, great field position helps. Being in NC Central territory the first time they started there tonight. Carden, quick throw again. And there's a nice catch by Hardy. You get the sense that if you get it anywhere near him, he's going to hang on to it as an 8-yard pickup. Second and a couple coming up, and East Carolina quickly to the line.
One of the throws they're always evaluating is that out from the far hash, and there's a great example of Carden's quick release and arm strength.
And now Carden slows the pace down. He's already thrown it 25 times. Here comes number 26. Over the middle, wide open. Hardy with a touchdown. That's the second touchdown for Hardy. One he's thrown, one he's caught.
And you'll see Hardy show up right down the seam, breaking in front of the safety, middle of the field, open. He takes it. Nice throw on a rope by Carden.
Really open. So this game began with the Eagles in front 7-0. It didn't begin that way, but not long after we started, Central returned a fumble for a touchdown, and that's all they've been able to do. Offensively, they've been stymied, and Shane Carden, Justin Hardy, the second most prolific tandem in college football all of last year for yards. They had 1,284 yards between them last year.
And there's Shane Carden. I tell you what does a quarterback do in the offseason after you throw for over 4,000 yards and 33 touchdowns? You work at getting better. He spent a lot of time with the baseball strength coach working on what the pitchers work on to strengthen their arm, scapula, throwing motion, and then with their strength coach on his core. Because you think about how many balls they throw in practice. You know, 200 during the week at least. He goes, I want my arm to last longer and be stronger through the course of the season. And those two guys together, like you said, are really one of the most prolific tandems in college football today. And I don't think enough people know about them.
Well, I agree. I think, there are people who have actually talked about Shane Carden as a dark horse Heisman candidate.
Absolutely. And you see what he does for his team, the wins they've been able to string together, his production at the position, and his athleticism as well.
So you've got Jones and Wilkins again back deep. And Wilkins really hasn't been that dangerous. His best return so far tonight was his first punt that he ran back. And this is going to be headed toward Jones, and he's going to take it to the goal line. Oh, the ball way high in the air. It's still out there. Jones couldn't get onto it, and it belongs to NC Central. DeVaris Brunson has made his second big special teams play and knocking that one 20 feet in the air, but North Carolina Central retains the football.
Coach Ruff emphasizes special teams. He goes, hey, it's not like anything else. You don't get a series of plays. You get one shot at a time. You got to make the most of it. And you could tell his players listen to him, and Brunson's a great example of that.
Well, this has been a field position game almost from the beginning. You just saw East Carolina with a 48-yard drive because of great field position. Now, the Eagles are back after that fumble and the recovery at their own 8. And Jerry Mack's team facing a ton of adversity in what's been a very difficult second quarter. They'll go on the ground. They'll pick up 2, maybe 3 with Swinson. Second down and long coming up. Bigger with another tackle. He's had a very active first half for the Pirates. Number 44 right there. And we identified the scheme here. A lot of conversation along that offensive line right now.
Yeah, it is. Trying to check out the safeties, what kind of coverage is showing, where the pressure could be coming to. Second and long, pressure down. for the Pirates.
Well, 1 second, and they avoid the penalties. Look out here. You can see that coming. The ball is loose. Jonathan White blew the play up. The ruling on the field, fumble. Pirates ball. Joe Ollerly has the football. It was Jonathan White who destroyed the play.
You'll see Jonathan White right here coming outside of your picture.
Ruling on the field is a fumble and a recovery by the defense. First down.
Billerman hung onto that ball quite a while, and the blocking just broke down.
And you'll see Jonathan White right there looping outside, creating a fumble.
Would it be almost insulting to say this is the best starting field position of the day for East Carolina and may well be their best starting field position all year long? Garden hands off and running up the gut for just a yard. It'll be second down and goal. And that was Corey Hunter. He's a junior. And he checks out. We've seen a ton of running backs. Marquez Grayson, 27, is now in here, along with Chris Hairston, who's to the right of the quarterback. Little throw here, little fade, and that's going to hit. That was pretty obvious as Michael Jones would grab the intended receiver, Cam Worthy. So it'll be a first down and move the ball half the distance.
Hey, if you're going to save a touchdown, that's worth it.
Yeah. Ed Ardito is our referee. The American Athletic Conference crew.
Are they calling this on the offense?
That did surprise me a little bit.
Pass interference. Defense number 1. Automatic first down.
You can see Jerry Mack's reaction. He believed that his player was innocent, or at least it could have been called the other way. Let's judge for ourselves. There's a little grab there.
Yeah, there's a grab.
You know what? You might have had an argument, and I would also fire back and say that's an uncatchable ball.
Lands out of bounds.
Considerably out of bounds. So Hunter's back in. He's right behind the quarterback. First down and goal. He gets his chance. Did the ball get over? The ball got ripped out. And it's recovered by East Carolina. It looks as if Dante Livingston, 71, fell on the football. No question that that ball was stripped out. And Livingston, there he comes out with it. So it's second down and goal. And that's how North Carolina Central scored their touchdown, was on a similar. You could see the lineman or somebody, linebacker, just stripping the football out. Right there. So Hairston back in at tailback. The strip was by Ty Brown, who's back in the game. He was shaken up early. Quick throw again. And that's an interesting call. Was he in the end zone? Yes, he crossed the plane. And that's Hardy with another touchdown catch. So Hardy now responsible for 3 touchdowns tonight.
You want to talk about throwing the ball in a tight window? There it is. Ball is placed there in the end zone. Touchdown. That's quarterback and receiver being on the same page.
Now the Coach Ruff, the rough Coach Ruff, is back in hiding as Coach McNeil looked a lot happier on that last shot. It's a 2-yard drive. The extra point tacked on, and East Carolina beginning to pull away. They were put up 31 unanswered points. And that's the 20th time that these two have hooked up, Harden and Hardy. They're gonna, this is a show that East Carolina fans will be talking about for a long time. They were part of. You wonder how East Carolina will fare in the American Athletic Conference this year. We've already seen some drama with this conference. UCF almost had Penn State today. Temple with a gigantic win over Vanderbilt. Just dominated.
And certainly a step up from Conference USA, but I tell you what, this team is ready for the move.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's a good addition. In addition to the fact you're bringing in a great fan base, you're going to get 45 to 50,000 every game here.
Yeah, it's not the TV market, it's the program. And right. You can't ever lose track of that, as much as that matters in the big picture of some things. I mean, they draw a big crowd. They've got a great following. They will travel with their team, given the opportunity. And like I said, it's a great game day atmosphere.
Now, you've got TV markets. You've got Houston, the fourth biggest city in the country. You've got the Dallas market with SMU. You've got Central Florida with both UCF and USF. So you get two big TV markets there. Orlando, Tampa, practically the same market. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about exposure for this conference. There's no question. Deep, deep kickoff, and Wilkins just saying, heck with it, I'm going to go. Taking 20, and that's all he's going to do. So East Carolina has been able to keep him in a box. In the meantime, touchdowns number 19 and 20, and the combined careers of Shane Harden and Justin Hardy.
We talked about chemistry. That one's easy. Middle field is wide open there. He just puts it on the dot of his wide receiver. But the chemistry is there. The timing is there. The reps have been there. The off seasons, the seasons, the voluntary workouts. These two guys put the time in. And not only for themselves, but developing the other quarterbacks and other wide receivers too. And that's when you know you have a great deal of accountability taking place within your locker room from player to player. That's powerful.
Andre Clark, the tailback, number 5 for North Carolina Central. And he'll get the keep, gets a hold, cuts up the middle, and he'll get a first down. Best looking play for NC Central in a while. And you see, leave me in. Let's ramp up the pace. Lamar Ivy on the stop. Haven't seen a lot of positive plays for the Eagles in the last few drives. Taking a little extra time here.
Pressure coming off the edge.
And Billerman on that zone read, brought down by Bigger. Actually, Billerman kind of tackled himself. He saw his options. He realized that Zeke Bigger was a bad option for him, so he just sort of sat down, picked up 2.
Well, he made the right read by keeping the ball because he saw Overton blitzing off the edge. Did a great job of the safety being there to make the tackle.
Surprised that NC Central is going with this look offense?
No, they talked about doing it because they like to control what the quarterback does. They'd rather put the onus on the coaching staff and the guys up in the booth to see what's taking place on the defensive side of the ball.
And they're going on the ground here to close out this half, and some success as Andre Clark fights for some extra yardage. He'll be a yard short of a first down with third down coming up. Dominique Lennon, a junior from Suffolk, Virginia, on the stop.
And Andre Clark, you can tell he wants the ball. Look, he's 5'10", 230 pounds. He's got some power. You need that for a single back offense.
He's got the want to, there's no doubt about it. Got 36 yards. He actually leads all the rushers in the game. Under a minute in the half. Clark again. And he will get the first down. Tackle made by Krishawn Rhodes. So an interesting approach here for the Eagles. Instead of frantically trying to run down the field and throw the ball deep and move the clock, and they have no timeouts, they're just eating up, getting a couple of first yards and running some basic plays. Now Billerman back to pass. He's going to tuck, run, throw, and it's caught. He was down. The catch made. A little bit shy of the first down by Armani Lanier, a freshman from Raleigh. An 8-yard pickup, and time running out. Will they get one more play off? And it's back on the ground. It'll be Clark, and that'll be the end of the half. For North Carolina Central, their dreams of an upset started early with the scoop and score by C.J. Moore. But since then, it's been all East Carolina. What a night for Justin Hardy. A touchdown pass and 2 touchdown catches. And the Pirates are dominating this half. We'll step aside, send it to the studio when we return on Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week with East Carolina in front. Here at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, its first half is over between East Carolina and North Carolina Central. We get ready for the second half. But David, let's talk just for a little bit about the American Athletic Conference. East Carolina new in there this year, and I think an excellent addition with this rising program.
Well, I think it's a win-win for both the conference and East Carolina. You look at the team they put on the field. They've got length. They've got speed. Look, there's 50,000 people here tonight. It is a win-win. They bring in an athletic football team. Shoot, and I think the American Conference is looking up. Look what UCF has done since entering the conference for 2 years now. A narrow loss to Penn State over in Ireland, but a team that won the conference last year.
And a big win for the American with Temple dominating Vanderbilt on opening weekend. Excellent football being played here. Tough night for UConn on Friday, but let's not forget about UConn in basketball, too. Also a strong sport for the Americans. So overall, this has become a very healthy football conference in just 2 seasons. When we return, we'll have the highlights of this first half battle between the Pirates and the Eagles. Stay with us.
This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
Second half just about to start here at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. East Carolina rattled off 31 unanswered points after NC Central jumped out on this play, David.
That's right. C.J. Moore is going to recover the fumble, scoop and score. That got Central on the board. Things were going well early for them, gaining a little momentum, but then after that, it was reverse pass from Hardy down the field to Isaiah Jones for the touchdown. That got East Carolina rolling.
That was catch number 269 in Justin Hardy's career, breaking Dwayne Harris's all-time record at ECU. And from there, it was all East Carolina. Breon Allen untouched into the end zone, and then 2 more hookups between Carden and Hardy.
That's right. The chemistry's there, the timing's there, and those guys have a lot of trust for one another, and it shows on the field and in their production.
So it'll be East Carolina kicking off, and Adrian Wilkins is back deep along with Michael Jones. Wilkins ran back 5 kicks for touchdowns in MEAC play last year, 3 of them off kick returns, 2 off punts, and this time it'll be take a knee for Jones in the end zone, and back out will come an offense that has had some trouble. Penalties early on, I think, really hurt NC Central in the game, taking away a couple of good plays. We'll take a look at some of the numbers in this game, and you see total yards just not there, 85. And time of possession, that's not bad, actually. Quinn Billerman in his first game for NC Central, a quarterback, 8 of 12, but only 55 yards.
Yeah, not bad. He's been under a lot of pressure, sacked a couple times, pressured and hurried some. But I'm kind of impressed. He's kind of handled the pressure. He's taken care of the football, hasn't made a whole lot of mistakes. They just had limited opportunities because negative plays, penalties, and stuff like that have really been detrimental to any momentum they had early in this ballgame.
They went conservative at the end of the second quarter. Let's see what the approach is now. They go back to the ground with Clark. He ran hard at the end of the half, and he gets an opportunity there. He'll pick up 3. Krishawn Rose, number 93, in there on the stop. 2nd and 7 for the Pirates, on the other hand. They've made their living in the air, 244 yards.
Yeah, and Shane Carden, 18 of 27, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. I tell you what, he is firing in this offense on all cylinders.
They had an awkward first possession, but ever since then, they've played extremely well. I think they've only punted 1 other time in the first half. And back to the ground. These plays starting to look a little bit alike. It's a gain of 4 that time for Clark. Brandon Williams in on the stop.
That's Brandon Williams coming off the edge, blitzing, chasing that play down from the backside.
You can see 51, Overton. Top of your screen, anxiously trying to get in there, and then he backed off a little bit. There you see him turning around, circling his finger around his ear there as a signal. Now he backs away. Now the pressure comes from the other side. Back to the air. Billerman and a diving catch made. That'll be a first down. Jazz King, former member of the Thundering Herd of Marshall. And that'll be a first down for the Eagles.
Nice job of Billerman going away from the coverage, found the matchup he liked, and Jazz King there to make the catch.
Quinn Billerman transferred from the New Mexico Military Institute, where he had 34 touchdowns and threw for 2,962 yards a year ago. He's got 4 receivers out. Looking out on the flat, catch made again by King. He got 1 block, but not enough. What an effort that time by Lamar Ivy, number 7, who was blocked on the play, fought it off and made the tackle. Short gain, second and long coming up. 8 yards to go.
Watch the defense here, too. Linebacker coming off the edge, another linebacker chasing from behind, but the job that number 7 does, Ivy, again, of attacking the point and block destruction by the wide receiver.
Back to the ground with Andre Clark. And he'll get to the 40-yard line. That's going to be a gain of a couple of more. It'll be 3rd down and 6 coming up. Jonathan White was forced to fumble to set up a 2-yard touchdown drive for East Carolina in the second quarter. Makes that stop. We'll see if this takes North Carolina Central out of this run up the middle game they've been doing so far at the end of the second quarter and the beginning of the third. Screen, bubble screen, got a block. This is Wilkins. He's got speed. Wilkins to the 40. Wilkins 35. Wilkins 30-yard line, 20 and inside there before he's ridden out of bounds. Dietrich Allen kept that from being a touchdown. That is a 43-yard gain, by far the longest play of the night for North Carolina Central.
They talked about, head coach Jerry Mack talked about getting the ball to Wilkins in space. There he is, a couple key blocks, a broken tackle. Now look down at the end, his other buddy wide receiver, Quentin Atkinson, again helping him out down the field.
Deepest penetration for North Carolina Central here, inside the 20 of the Pirates. Again, their points came on a defensive score. And they go back to running up the middle. Clark, and he fights for 3. Flag down, you can see right there. And a holding call coming up against NC Central.
Holding, offense, number 55. 10-yard penalty, first down.
We've seen this before, Dave, with the holding problems and the penalties at the worst possible time for NC Central. Big Carl Jones call for that. The center, number 55, drops it back to first down and 20. Rushing 3, pass, incomplete, scooped off the ground. 2nd and 20 coming up. Intended receiver not able to come up with that one. That was Derek Mason, freshman from Durham. So a lot of freshmen getting time tonight. For head coach Jerry Mack, kind of a freshman in his own way. This is his first game as a head coach. Mack had spent the last couple of seasons wide receiver coach at South Alabama. Pressure here, screen it, look out! You could see that coming in the distance. Dietrich Allen read that play beautifully, and Deontay Wright paid the price.
Allen, number 4, the boundary corner. You'll see him. He sees it all the way, does not hesitate, breaks on the ball, and makes the hit.
That'll go over well in the film room. 6th tackle for a loss by the Purple defense tonight. They try to get it to Wilkins here. Maybe they'll look for number 21 again. Down he goes. No chance to find anybody. Swallowed up by Jaton Beavers, a junior from Virginia Beach who's battled injuries his whole career, finally getting on the field, and he gets the 3rd sack of the night.
Tom Beavers is a physical specimen now, 6'5", 260 pounds. Boy, you see the inside move. He's a good-looking athlete, been injured most of his career, and they're excited to have him healthy for once. Now this, his senior year, or his junior year.
He's 6'5", and they list him at 263.
I saw him down the field in pregame. That is a good-looking athlete.
Tilke trying to tuck this inside the 10 if he can, and almost did it. And I hope that number 33 is able to get up. Took a late hit from his own teammate. So a good punt by Tilke of 23 yards. That's the 3rd time he's done that tonight, by the way, a 23-yard punt, but that one helps his defense. Big. You are watching the American Athletic Conference on ESPN. And tonight, one of its newest members, East Carolina, taking care of business at the moment with 8:49 to go in the 3rd quarter against MEAC, North Carolina Central from Durham, North Carolina. And the Pirates have the football at their own 14-yard line with Dave Diaz-Infante. I'm Dave Lamont. Delighted you could join us here on a beautiful Saturday in East Carolina. Shane Carden out in space. This is Isaiah Jones. He'll break one, but not all the tackles. And making sure that he wasn't going to get anywhere but out of bounds was Jeremy Thompson. That's a pretty good gain, though, of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Shane Carden, the senior quarterback from Houston, last year completed 70.5% of his passes for 33 touchdowns and over 4,100 yards. He's on the move right now, stops, makes the defender miss, and has the open man Jones again. 1st down to the 35-yard line. And coming up, limping a little bit was Ryan Smith who made the stop, and Jones hobbles off after a 17-yard gain.
One of the things that's intriguing about Shane Carden is not his ability to evade the rush, but his ability to throw from different angles, from awkward positions, and still be accurate with the football.
He had Felix Small, number 42, just guessing what his next move was going to make. Now the handoff to Chris Hairston. He'll get just shy of the 40-yard line to the 39. That's a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 about to come up. Jones tonight, Isaiah Jones, a sophomore from Austin, Texas, 8 catches for 129. That's a career high in yards.
And Isaiah Jones really credits his maturity as a receiver and a football player on the field to Justin Hardy, and I think that also applies off the field as well. But boy, the things he's been able to teach him and share with him about playing the position, being a complete wide receiver.
Anthony Scott, number 3 at the tailback, highly touted freshman, getting the opportunity here. He runs into a clean tackle by Theo Livingston. You see Quincy McKinney, 72, can have to take a play off after his helmet came off. Just shy of the 1st down, 3rd down and a yard coming up. Well, you mentioned the off-the-field stuff. Ruffin McNeil was talking to us yesterday about he loves acronyms. One of his big ones is PIP, Pirates in Public.
Exactly. Know that people know who you are and make sure you're representing the university, your football team, and your family as well as possible.
Carden, plenty of time, over the middle, wide open, the receiver with the 1st down. That's Jimmy Williams, the sophomore out of Washington, North Carolina. He'll get to the 42 after a 14-yard gain brought down by C.J. Moore. 1st down. Carden rolling right this time. Has time, sets up, looked deep. Oh, what a nice throw to Jones for his 9th catch. Cameron Hughes was in coverage, but you couldn't beat that throw. It's another first down.
And you wonder why he's so accurate, over 70% completion. Watch the ball placement again. His body wasn't even set in the right direction. He threw that sidearm wide open right on a dime. Carden 22 of 31 for 250 yards.
Now back on the ground, flag comes in. And Hairston is swallowed up by the gray and maroon of North Carolina Central. Yeah, you can see the umpire said, I got this.
Holding.
This is holding.
Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So on the center, Taylor Hudson, couple yellow flags on him tonight.
Well, coaches like to have something to be unhappy about when they're winning. That's their nature. So we'll go into the mental mistake box. Breon Allen back in at tailback, and that'll be talked about in the next team meeting. Carden again, pitching it, and there's the 10th catch for Isaiah Jones. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line, got just about all the penalty yards back. It'll be second down and 11.
Second down and 11, ball at the 31-yard line.
And Carden is showing the ability to make all the throws. The long throws, the short throws, the accurate throws, the short dump-offs, and the deep ones. This time a screen pass under pressure, and the turf monster is taking down Breon Allen. That'll be a loss back to the 35. They're going to need 15 after a loss of 4 on third down. Ty Brown was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, good pursuit by NC Central's defense right there. Breon Allen's feet were a little quicker than his body.
I wish I knew what that was like.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, partner.
Down to 4 on the play clock. And a timeout being called. If that was never going to happen, that play was going to end up in another penalty. And
Timeout, ECU. That's their first.
we're going to step aside. We'll find out what the mind of offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley. He's got the visor on. What's he going to do on 3rd and 15?
And so the conversation turned until the sun went down.
Offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley. You've got a 3rd down and 15 coming up. We know that there's a Mike Leach influence of this offense, the air raid, but yet here at East Carolina they run it a little bit different.
Yeah, and Coach Ruff told him, I want you to put your own flavor on it. And part of that is his willingness and ability to run the ball. He's not afraid to attach a tight end. He'll go 3-by-1, 2-by-2, 20 personnel, 2 backs, 3 wide receivers. He does a great job of mixing it up.
3rd down and 15. The long throw and almost a diving interception by Ryan Smith. And that's the first incompletion for Carden in this half. He had been 6 out of 6.
And you'll see him feet get a little antsy, a little late with the throw, and nice break on the ball by Ryan Smith. Should have been picked off.
He had 2 picks last year, 3 fumble recoveries. He was playing the safety position. He was moved over. Defensive coordinator Granville Eastman. There you see head coach Jerry Mack in his first game as a college head coach. Carden now 6 out of 7, and the drive moving into his 10th play. They're going to go for it here on 4th and 15 unless Carden will pooch it. Or just take a timeout or a 5-yard delay, a game penalty.
Delay game, offense number 5. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's likely going to mean Worth Gregory will come out with a punt team. Attendance tonight just under 43,000. This is a 50,000 capacity. We have a little jewel box here. This is a very nice facility, very nice mid-size stadium, just right for this area and this market. They've added some seats over the last couple of years. They were literally putting the finishing touches on it yesterday when we were here, painting certain spots. Got the big rollers out to make sure that everything was just right for opening night. They
getting ready for game day, right?
Yeah, that's
nice weight room.
Yeah, they did a nice job with that too.
Yeah, facilities are right up there.
Well, never mind a punt. How about a 57-yard field goal attempt? No, they're going to go ahead and just have Warren Harvey casually booted. But be careful, because this is Wilkins, and he can make people miss, but not that many of them. Trey Robertson, the guard, number 68, is going to wind up on the tackle sheet tonight for that hit. It's a 34-yard little pooch by Warren Harvey. They lined up for the field goal. Harvey instead bunted the punt, and it worked very well. Hey, this guy's an awesome returner, but there's just too much purple here.
You know,
There's your scoring time. And for the first time tonight, we're getting a look at number 12, Malcolm Bell. At quarterback for North Carolina Central. Pete the Pirate looks on.
A little more of a dual threat quarterback in for him now against this ECU defense that's completely dominated Central.
Like that. Perfect timing. Andre Clark will get a hard-earned yard, dragged down by Terry Biles, number 95. And now some of the second stringers and third stringers getting an opportunity to see some playing time for the defense of Rick Smith in his second term as East Carolina's defensive coordinator.
And this defense, 3 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, and 0 points allowed.
The only NC Central points came from their defense. And that was very early in the game when the Eagles had some hope of an upset. But right now, they've kind of been worn down by the depth and the talent of East Carolina. Bell with a throw. It'll be third down coming up. Adrian Wilkins was the intended receiver, 3rd and 8.
Nice defense there by Allen, number 4.
Bell is a redshirt sophomore from Richmond, Virginia. Threw a couple of touchdowns last year, but had 5 interceptions. Now, they lost a good quarterback in Jordan Reed at North Carolina Central. He was the most accurate passer in NCCU history. Bell on the run, and you couldn't even see who the intended receiver is until right now when Wilkins pops up. That's how well covered Brandon Williams had him. It'll be time to punt.
You talked about defensive coordinator Rick Smith and what he's brought to this defense. Improvements across the board. And Coach Ruff talked about the things he was looking for in a defensive coordinator. He had them all. He wanted someone with a secondary background, had success as a coordinator before, is an excellent recruiter, which he does that, and also someone that's familiar with East Carolina, and he certainly is.
Hardy is back deep, and he will wisely let this roll. This is going to be a good kick for Tilke. That's going to drop finally at the 38-yard line of East Carolina. A 53-yard punt, breaking a string of a lot of 23-yard punts for Tilke. Shane Carden will lead out the ECU offense when we return.
For those Aggies from Utah State, Chucky Keaton, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the country, and a salty defense.
Look out there, Anthony Scott breaking through, but there's a flag down in the backfield. This may come back. Scott with a nice gain. We met with the coaches yesterday.
Holding. Offense number 50. 10-yard penalty. First down.
They kept raving about Anthony Scott. I mean, they've played 4 running backs tonight, which you don't often get to do. And he's a freshman, but they didn't want a redshirt, and they wanted him out there.
And you can see Coach's eyes light up when we mentioned his name. He goes, wow, we can't wait to get him on the field.
So back it up to the 29-yard line. It'll be first down and about 19 yards to go. Hairston and Grayson, 22 Hairston, 27 Grayson, the tailbacks for the Pirates. 10-game winners last year, now in the American Athletic Conference. After leaving Conference USA, straight ahead, this is Hairston. And an ankle tackle prevented him from really breaking loose. So get it back to the original line of scrimmage. Jordan Miles just grabbed him and refused to let go. Second and 10. Back to the ground, Hairston again. Breaking one, breaking two. Hairston playing off the receiver. Nice use of the blocks that time by Hairston. Late hit. And it's going to be 15 more. Little unnecessary contact after the play.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 23 for a late hit. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's Theo Livingston charged with the penalty.
You'll see Livingston come in late in the picture off the sideline. Coming over the top right there. C.J. Moore had the tackle, had him out of bounds, and Livingston just came in with a late lick.
Just a couple of feet too far into that paint area. And he jumped a little bit into him too, which officials have been keeping an eye on the past couple of years. Hairston stays into the tailback spot. Play action fake by Carden. Going for it all right here, and it's knocked loose and dropped. An interception in the hands of Cameron Hughes, and he just couldn't hang on. It was Theo Livingston who broke the play up, and it was Hughes who missed out on a great chance.
Yeah, here's one of the things that they've been working on Shane Carden with. You're going to see him set up. Boy, there's a play action fake. He looks back. See how happy his feet are? No reason for him to change his lower body. You want to keep it tight, upright, and compact. Again, his feet got happy, turned sideways, inaccurate throw down the ball, down the field.
Try again this time. Sets, fires. You see the difference. The catch is made by Justin Hardy. That's inside the 20, down to the 17. That'll be a first down. Livingston there on the hit. How were his feet that time?
A little bit better. And it's one of the things, when you're an athletic quarterback, it's one of the things that makes you special. It's also going to be your detriment if you don't know how to hold on to it and work the pocket from within the pocket by sliding, hitching.
How about that for an easy touchdown? It's going to be hard to beat that for an easy touchdown caught by Trevon Brown, the freshman from Wilmington, North Carolina.
See him set his feet and throw that ball accurately for a strike. So happy to start working with the baseball team. Wide open wide receiver.
I got to say, the closest person to Brown, I think, was one of the media photographers in the end zone. There wasn't a defender anywhere near him. 5 plays, 62. 7th different receiver with a catch tonight for the Pirates. Took them 92 seconds to accomplish it. And they have built up a 31-point lead, 38 consecutive points by the Pirates. Well, we mentioned how East Carolina finished their season on a high. In their bowl game, they went down to St. Pete to take on the Ohio Bobcats from the MAC. And they fell behind early, but made a remarkable comeback in the fourth quarter. Ventavious Cooper, a 31-yard touchdown run. He, of course, no longer with the team, the leading rusher last year. Then Cam Worthy throws to Shane Carden. Look at this catch in traffic for the quarterback. And then Cooper polishes it off with a 22-yard run. And that is a frozen head coach. Notice the team effort by Carden to make sure that Buffett McNeil wasn't going to miss out on the ice bath.
Ah, the old hug 'em one.
I love you,
Give
Coach.
Coach a hug. That's right.
Cooper ran for 198, by the way, with the MVP of the Beefo Braves.
And Shane Carden, we talked about how him and Hardy developed their chemistry on the scout team together. The year after, when Hardy was up on the field and playing, Carden's still there on the scout team, played wide receiver, and it really came back to help him there in that bowl game, catching that touchdown pass.
Fight off 2 defenders on the night. Carden 26 of 37, 283, and 3 touchdowns. And it'll be Adrian Wilkins and Michael Jones awaiting the kick. Hoping we see maybe some fireworks from Wilkins. He's got it. And he just ran into too much purple once again, got outside the 20-yard line, but that's going to be about it. They were waiting for him. That was one of the top priorities, was to make sure that he did not go off, and he hasn't. Coverage of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week continuing on ESPN at Monday at 8. Duke Johnson.
Miami team that some people are talking about up there, huh?
They're a
little
mystery.
transition, but
they are such a mystery to me, Dave. I cannot figure that team out. They got a freshman quarterback playing who beat out a veteran in Jake Heaps and a former Kansas Jayhawk. That is really an interesting matchup because you don't know what to expect from either of those teams. Short gain that time by Deontay Wright. That's an ACC matchup. By the way, that's another conference shift. Louisville now in the ACC. They left the American Athletic Conference.
Well, and Charlie Strong obviously leaves Louisville to go to Texas, but he didn't leave those cupboards bare there at Louisville. He's done a heck of a job recruiting. They've got a veteran offensive line. They're physical, they're fast. And Bobby Petrino can flat out coach.
They have a new quarterback too.
Yeah.
They had a nice one going there for a few years in Teddy Bridgewater, a Miamian whom a lot of folks in Florida go, how did he get out of our grasp? And he beat both Florida and Miami in bowl games to Bridgewater. Straight ahead goes Malcolm Bell, showing his running ability. Trayvon Simmons, number 3 on the stop after the 7-yard pickup. That's going to be a couple of yards short of the first down, 3rd and 2.
And Zeke Bigger had a chance to make that play, blitzing off the edge. But a nice job by Bell to avoid the tackle and pick up positive yards.
Zeke Bigger's had a big game tonight, a junior from Gastonia, North Carolina. Inside 30 seconds in this 3rd quarter.
And in this formation too, Bigger's playing that overhang defender right there to the trips formation, trying to help with coverage but still be able to play the run in the box.
And woof, coming in very quickly, uninterrupted, was Brandon Williams with a hit. That will not be a first down, and that will end the quarter with East Carolina up by 31 points. Their defense has been stout tonight. 8th tackle for a loss by the Pirates defense, and it'll be East Carolina getting the ball back to start the 4th quarter when we return.
If you're one of
4th quarter about to begin here at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium on the campus of East Carolina University. I'm Dave Lamont, joined by Dave Diaz-Infante and our ESPN crew. Upstairs, I'm joined by Jamie Turner in spotting and Phil DeMontmall in counting for me because I can't get past 5. And we start the 4th with the Pirates in front, 38-7. Another punt coming up. This time back deep is Trevon Brown, who has a touchdown catch tonight. And he's going to take a shot at a punt return. Got a pretty good block and has a little bit of open field here if he can get to the edge. He did, cuts back, fighting off some tackles, and that's a great punt return. He'll get out to the 40, maybe even the 41-yard line. A 50-yard punt was an excellent kick, but a 21-yard return. And a nice way for ECU to begin the 4th quarter.
And just another one of those talented freshmen. I tell you what, they're recruiting some skilled players there, guys that can run, are long, got hands, and here's another freshman, a great example of what they have waiting in the wings.
Not a lot of redshirting going on here, is there, at East Carolina? Now, a redshirt freshman, Kurt Benkert from Cape Coral, Florida, on the west coast of the state, is in at quarterback.
East Carolina, number 6.
Shane Carden's had a heck of a night. Marquez Grayson will take over. You see what East Carolina does when they put up 30, they usually win, and it looks good for them here. Grayson on the ground, outside the 45 to about the 47-yard line. C.J. Moore on the stop.
Grayson, another freshman, you know, getting plenty of playing time and experience.
I don't think we won't see Anthony Scott again, number 3. He should be out there any minute if he isn't already. And he is, to the right of the quarterback, number 6, Benkert. And there's Scott right there. And you see the burst. He got through the hole quickly for a first down into NCCU territory after a gain of 7. Felix Small on the stop.
At the Eagle, 47.
Might have seen the last of both, not just Carden, but Justin Hardy as well.
Well, how about that backfield? All 3 of those guys freshmen right there. They'll put Scott out on the slot.
Baker with the throw to Devon Grayson. He'll get to the 43-yard line. Michael Jones, second team All-MEAC at the defensive back position, stops him after a gain of 4.
Michael Jones on the tackle, gain of 4 on the play. Second down and 6. Ball for 45.
Yeah, I would think that East Carolina and their schedule the next 2 weeks are going to be very interesting. They go to South Carolina. Can't imagine the mood on campus in Columbia, South Carolina, the next 48 to 72 hours or so.
We could be going into a hornet's nest right there.
The head ball coach is going to have to come up with some good quips to get out of that one. But if anybody can do it, he can.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 42. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
And then after that, East Carolina goes to Virginia Tech in a noon game. And listen, Lane Stadium is so hard to play in. So that's really going to be something.
Blacksburg, yep, that's a tough
great
place.
test. 2 non-conference games for East Carolina before then they play North Carolina, who they beat last year. That'll be here.
Against a Bud Foster defense that, you know, they know how to play against the spread now.
Anthony Scott at the tailback. Baker, he's going to throw for it all right here. And a lot of collision. No flag.
And for number 88, Trayvon Brown.
Trayvon Brown again, the intended receiver.
And you see a little jostling going up. It's kind of incidental contact. I like that no call.
2nd and 10, total yards. Now East Carolina has passed the 400 mark, 404, and NC Central at 142. In fact, East Carolina just continuing, does not get to conference play till October 4th when they play SMU. Bouncing outside to Scott, and a good tackle in the open field that time by Saeed Muhammad, a redshirt senior from Charlotte. That's a 5-yard pickup, but could have been more if not for Muhammad's excellent effort. It will be 3rd down and 5. Meantime for NC Central, they get home to play Elizabeth City State next.
There you go, Scott. Boy, that's what you call a little more than a shoestring tackle, right? You know, talking about that Virginia Tech game, too. Virginia Tech beat them 15-10 last year. Defensive battle.
Bankert in some trouble. Now he's going to fling into the end zone. And it is caught, but out of bounds. Yeah, the officials double checking. Michael Jones would like credit for the interception, but he's not going to get it. It'll be 4th and 5 coming up. And NC Central's first MEAC game. They'll play Howard on October 4th. Jones almost got that foot down. Would have been a heck of an interception if he had.
Take another look at it.
Warren Harvey. And to kick the field goal.
Ooh, I think that foot is in.
And he maintained control.
Under review.
Yeah,
the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. The defender caught the ball when he was beyond the end line.
Let's see if that holds up, if it's indisputable video evidence, or we have some reason to overturn this one.
Maintain control of the ball throughout the catch.
And that's the tricky part sometimes when you're going out of bounds like that. So let's see if he does everything that's required. Does he catch it, and does he stay in bounds? Boy, that's going to be tough. I think, Dave, that he keeps control of the ball.
I think he has control. I think control's there, and I think his left foot is in.
That angle, it looks like it was in. When we went with a high angle, it looked like his foot might have hit on the white line, which isn't going to work.
And you can't see the white line from here, and so based on that, I'm not sure if it's indisputable.
Ruling on the field, well, we know what Michael Jones believes. He had 4 interceptions last year, and he's just a sophomore from Baltimore, so it's good tidings for the NC Central folks that he'll be around for a couple of more years. He's a very good player.
And you have to remember, the ruling on the field was he was out of bounds.
So is that indisputable video evidence to overturn the call? This is an American Athletic Conference crew tonight, captained by Ed Ardito. Michael Semcheski is in charge of replay. And they're taking their sweet time with this one. We have the call now, any second. There we go.
After review, the defender had possession of the ball before he went out of bounds. Therefore, it's an interception, a touchback. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for North Carolina Central.
So Michael Jones, the second-team All-MEAC cornerback, making his pitch to be on the first-team All-MEAC in the 2014 season with a spectacular interception in the end zone. And North Carolina Central will take the ball back in the fourth quarter.
It's the model year end. And we're unleashing bonus cash on the 2014 Nissan.
Gillette.
So again, after that spectacular interception by Michael Jones, it is North Carolina Central ball. A touchback puts the ball out of course at the 20-yard line. Malcolm Bell remains the quarterback, replacing Quinn Billerman. Been a difficult night for the NC Central offense. East Carolina's defense has pretty much run the show. And a great night for Shane Carden, the Pirates quarterback, who's resting the rest of the evening as Bell gets through for 7-8 yards, getting some good blocking from that line, including the right tackle, number 78, Christopher Presley, a senior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And he's got an incredible family story. He was acting sick, trying to get out of school one day. His mom, Andrea, gave in and kept him home. We'll fill it out for you here after the play. Well, we have a second one. He stepped away. So, you know, he may not have been sick. He might have been. But his mom worked at the Pentagon. And the date of the sickness was September 11th, 2001.
Wow. I tell you what, that gives you a chill, doesn't it?
It does, because for all we know, he just was tired and didn't want to go to school. But that decision by the mom had obviously a huge impact on the Presley family.
Number 5, Andre Clark on the carry.
Rocco Scarfone on that stop there. So Big Chris there at 6'5", 360 pounds. Came to his team from Prince George's CC in the Maryland area. Yeah, that's just unbelievable. And there are other coincidences. You've heard stories over the years about you guys who were late for work by a few minutes or took the day off unexpectedly, things like that. And here's another story. Bell, and that's a nice grab by Adrian Wilkins, the all-purpose yards leader. It's going to be ruled out of bounds, however. I thought I saw one official wave it off, but it's going to be gain of 3, second down and 7. My apology. Wilkins led the MEAC in all-purpose yards lane.
What do you think the amazing twist of fate?
Oh my
God. You're faking sick. You know, kids, you don't want to go to school. Mom gives in to you, right? Usually she probably doesn't, but for some reason, some way that day, on 9/11, she gives in to her son, and she's still with us today, and they're together, and crazy.
Timeout, North Carolina Central. That's their first.
So we will step aside. Christopher Presley in the offense getting a chance to get a little water and maybe a new play.
Big news.
So for head coach Jerry Mack, his debut with the North Carolina Central Eagles and his debut as a head football coach, a little rough. I'm sure he had to understand what he was stepping into. Former player at Arkansas State, or the Red Wolves, they are called now. Be interesting to see what he takes out of this game when he meets with his staff. They've got a fairly reasonable bus ride to get back to Durham after the game. What they talk about on that bus and what they do when they get in their film and what they take away. Malcolm Bell showing some lively footwork, but gave up the football on that hard hit.
Malcolm Bell on the quarterback.
Still waiting to see. They're going to say he was down. Tavares Brunson.
Ruling on the field was runner was down by contact.
This is definitely contact, too.
I tell you what, Tavares Brunson, this guy knows how to bring it. He's got one speed he plays this game at.
That's right. He has partially blocked a punt tonight and also broke up a pass early.
He's playing on defense. He plays on special teams. The guy only plays at one speed, and that's what the game's all about.
And that's how you get more playing time, when you make plays like that late in a game. He's a sophomore from Lake City, South Carolina. It does really seem, Dave, like this East Carolina team is set up well, not just for now, but for the future.
Yeah, you see the youth and the depth on their roster right now. They've been
Timeout,
developing.
North Carolina Central. That's their second.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the parity of the American. I mean, some familiar foes there too. The Houstons, right? The UCFs.
Oh yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see how much that parity, what difference that makes in being able to handle the length of that schedule.
Yep,
You know.
I agree. I mean, SMU, you got to play, and all of that starts in
Cincinnati.
October. Cincinnati's going to be a tough out. You got to go into Tampa to play USF, although they're struggling tonight. UCF is their final game of the regular season. Tulsa had a great game against Tulane the other night. Those teams are obviously on the schedule. So it ought to be a lot of fun for East Carolina. It'll be a lot of fun tomorrow, Sunday on ESPN.
And Mike Oresco, their commissioner, in the changing landscape of college football, he's been tenacious in his pursuit of teams and trying to hold that thing together, and I think he's done a heck of a job.
Well, they've gone through so much transition, and that was almost picked off. Krishawn Rose had his hands on that just for a second as the receiver was unable to hold the screen pass. I mean, people, they had Louisville win a basketball championship. Actually, you don't forget in basketball, they've won the last two, Louisville and then Connecticut. They lost Louisville in football, but gaining East Carolina, that's a great move. As you see that receiver unable to hold on to it right, and the big fella, the senior from D.C., Rose almost got that lineman's dream and a chance to get his hands on the ball. But the American Athletic Conference did miss out on being part of that Power 5 cartel. We have flags down. And Brown will let that roll and roll and roll. We'll see what the penalty is.
Will be down at the 14-yard line when the flag will take over from 10.
And it doesn't mean that your conference can't be exciting and competitive. 51-yard punt. And they may be picking up this flag. We'll give you the story when we come back.
Her passion for...
They're going to re-kick it. There was a 5-yard penalty on North Carolina Central, so they'll be forced to kick it one more time. Some interesting results this evening, Dave, we were looking at during the break. Florida State having a tough time with Oklahoma State. This is ripped by Tilkey. Brown back, and he falls down at the 15-yard line. Wisconsin in front of LSU at the half.
If Wisconsin can pull off that upset and win, I don't even know if it's really an upset. They're a darn good football team. Gary Anderson's done a great job. Really a battle of the trenches between those two teams. But if they can pull off that win, boy, they've got a chance to be a part of that 14 playoff based on their schedule and going through the Big Ten. I'm telling you what, it'll be interesting to see what happens. You got to look at Michigan State out of the Big Ten. Ohio State struggles today without Braxton Miller. Be interesting to see how that goes. Pretty much people are counting them out of the picture. It's going to be exciting to see the best 4 teams.
You got a big game next week. Michigan-Notre Dame is going to establish the fate of those two teams pretty much, whether they're going to have any opportunity at all. But games tonight, Oklahoma State and FSU, that is very interesting.
And I'll tell you what, West Virginia, Alabama's got some issues.
What kind of issues?
Offensive line, I mean, West Virginia had some chances, boy. A few drop passes. Clint Trickett played his tail off now. But I think there's a few more question marks than people thought Alabama had. I mean, not just at the quarterback position, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
See what East Carolina has done. They've got a great record here in Greenville at Dowdy-Ficklen. They've won 11 of their last 13 on their way. They've been in bowls 7 of the last 8 years. And they're about to go 23 straight versus FCS opponents. They'll be 23-1 and go to 6-1 in home openers during that 6-1 in their last 7 home openers. And Kurt Banker, the redshirt freshman, continues in his backup duties to Shane Carden, who had a great night tonight. Marquez Grayson will be the redshirt freshman running back here. And Grayson popped through a nice hole. He'll pick up 6. It'll be second down coming up. C.J. Moore on the stop, the senior from Raleigh.
Off the 15 up to the 20-yard line for a gain of 6 yards. Second down and 4.
At one point, this game was 7-0 in favor of the visiting Eagles on a scoop and score by C.J. Moore. But since then, East Carolina began to flex their muscles, and particularly on the defensive end. Well, Carden had a great day, so did Justin Hardy and Isaiah Jones, but the ECU defense has been tough. That's a great catch. What a throw. Cedric Thompson making the grab. And Becker fit that into a tight window.
I'm going to be bonded at the 22-yard line. Where is a first down? Pirates.
Yeah, that was such a tight window. It went through the window and out the other side.
I think Neil Williams thinks he should have intercepted that, number 29. I think his coaches probably agree with him. Here's Scott. And the speed burners running in between the tackles here, and they bring him down after a short gain.
Picked up 2 yards on the play.
It'll be second down and about 8. When you look ahead, Breon Allen is a senior running back, so you'll lose him at the end of the year. Chris Hairston's a junior, but you got Grayson and Scott behind him, trying to replace Ventavious Cooper's 1,193 yards from last year. Little tunnel screen here. Nice catch made by Jimmy Williams. He's got some speed too, and Williams will get into NCAA territory. Theo Livingston on the stop. That's a gain of 22 yards. A little
And
slow
you'll
to
see
get
the
up.
blocking. He's going to get outside. Just the slip screen back inside. Look at the blocking right there. Number 86, wide receivers blocking for him. And there he is for the big gain.
And Livingston not yet off the field. Get a little help. It's a humid night. It's not really hot, but it is thick air tonight. And we'll take a break. Hopefully Theo's going to be okay.
When you told me about this Candy Crush game at first, I...
Good entertainment if you're a Rage Against the Machine fan. That's where the band is playing right now. 7:42 remaining in the fourth quarter. There's your score. Big Sporting Goods kickoff week continuing on ESPN. Plenty of time. And Banker's going to just take off and stop the clock by stepping out of bounds at the 44-yard line. I say he stepped out of the 45. So 2nd and 6. And is Banker the man for next year? Carden, the senior, is going to be gone. So every opportunity here for Kurt Banker to see the field. Try to impress the coaches that he will be the guy to step in next season.
Hey, and the more game experience you can get as a young guy, boy, it's invaluable.
Steps into that throw that time. Catch made by Devon Grayson. And it looks to be a first down, and is. Michael Jones in there on the stop. Gain of 6. This is also a great opportunity for East Carolina to try different aspects of their offense, set some things up for future games, or hide some things for future games. Bankered 4 of 6 for 38 yards and an interception. On the ground. Look out here, Scott. There's the speed they talked about. Touchdown, East Carolina. Oh, come on, man. You got to get the cannon ready for the freshman's first touchdown. There you go. Thank you. I knew they could count on him.
Better late than never, huh?
That's right.
Well, there's the speed they talked about with Anthony Scott.
And
he goes, boy, there's a difference when he gets the open space. He goes, there's a different gear.
He was quick, no question. And also, let's face it, that Eagles defense has got to be just completely spent. Not many substitutions. They brought 61 players, and they've had a lot of these guys go the distance. So the freshman from Virginia Beach, there you go. You got it. You got it the second time. Anthony Scott breaks into the scoring column in his first game, untouched, to the end zone. Cannon fire, a little less perfect in the execution of the play, but they got it done. The Cannon team firing and focused, a little behind on the last touchdown, but they've done a nice job tonight. They've been busy ever since East Carolina took over this football game. They fell behind 7-0, but they have come back and played very well since then.
Well, you look at East Carolina right there and talking to their coaching staff and knowing the background of their offensive philosophies. It's about ball distribution and touches, and there you go. 67 offensive plays, 14 different players have touched the football. That forced you to defend the whole field and different personnel packages. And so they've accomplished kind of what their offensive philosophy is based on.
Wilkins and Jones back deep. And this is going to be Wilkins with a short kick at the 10-yard line. 25, Wilkins to the 30. It'll be a gain of 20. How about what happened tonight in Gainesville? The game between the Gators and the Idaho Vandals was canceled because of weather.
Wow.
Had a lot of lightning in the area, and they never got off the ground. They had one play.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think, when was the last time that happened? Huh?
I can't think of it. I really can't. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I've known games that have been postponed and moved because of weather. I can think of hurricanes that have done that problem. But I would have to really sit down and think about it. I can't remember. Yeah, they had held the game up for quite some time, and finally it was called. So Quinn Billerman is back in at quarterback. His second shift of the night. And they stay on the ground with Andre Clark.
How about University of Hawaii up on Washington? 10-7, still early in that football game, but
Second down and 8.
Well, there's even some talk, and I hope it never happens, that I read an article recently talking about dropping the program.
Yeah, I've been under some difficult times, budget constraints. Norm Chow over there.
Billerman resetting. See if they go back to the approach they had at the second quarter to keep their defense off the field and trying to just run some clock and run the ball. Their defense has got to be worn out. They go back to Clark, and this is how it looked in the second quarter.
Andre Clark up the middle for the Eagles.
Cameron White, number 55, making that stop. The sophomore from Apex, North Carolina.
Tackle for East Carolina. Third down and 8.
And there's Cameron White, another sophomore out there.
Yeah, this appears to be the strategy, Dave, is that North Carolina Central is just letting their defense catch a break on a humid night.
Well, you only use tempo when it's to your advantage.
Yeah.
Based on who you are and who your opponent is.
And Billerman's going to drop back here, though, needing some distance, and that's going to be patted down. Rocco Scarfone in there, number 10. Fourth down and 7.
Now that's a name. Rocco Scarfone.
I do like it, I got to admit. He's a junior.
Where's he from?
Greensboro, North Carolina.
He can't be from North Carolina.
There you go.
He's got a lot of vowels like I do.
There's indisputable video evidence right there that says Greensboro, North Carolina. Rocco better get off the field. Rocco's going to be called for being the 12th man on the field. Oh, my. Now, there's another flag.
Flags on the play.
Back by the punt returner, but there's no question that there's going to be 12 men on the field here against East Carolina, and Rocco was the 12th guy. We'll see officially what Ed Ardito and his crew come up with. Quite a lot of bookkeeping going on here because you have 3 flags all in different places. 2 where the punt was going and 1 where the punt came from.
There's laundry all over the field.
Man. There's so many penalties that they've actually gone to Jerry Mack to ask what he wants to do face to face. It's your choice.
Substitution infraction on the defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Oh, that was an easy decision for Jerry Mack to make. So the good news for Rocco Scarfone is he never committed a penalty after all. It didn't count.
The personal foul is on number 86.
So it's a easy decision for Jerry Mack. It'll be first down. Personal foul occurring near where the punt was. We didn't see exactly what happened. And they're marking this thing off from They're taking this back a long way. Back to the 12-yard line where the Pirates will be starting. Take a good look at Kurt Benkert, who's been on in relief of Shane Carden, who played brilliantly tonight. 3 touchdown passes. On the ground, untouched for about 10 yards, Marquez Grayson.
Marquez Grayson on the carry for East Carolina. Picks up 14 yards out to the
14-yard pickup. So for East Carolina,
it is a first down.
what would you take out of this game tonight, Dave?
Well, I think you're just glad to get they start off just a little bit slow offensively with the turnover. That kind of got things going, but after that, they really started firing on all cylinders. Again, you look at that ball distribution, 14 different players touching the football. You look at Shane Carden's numbers. You look at not just what Hardy has done, but Jones as well. Their numbers start totaling up. You try to take Hardy out of the picture, and it's not so easy to do.
No, Isaiah Jones had a career night tonight. 10 catches, 150 yards. Don't forget, he had 62 catches last year and 5 touchdowns. So he didn't exactly spring out of nowhere. Good football player, and he had a career game tonight. Back on the ground, Scott. And lowered his shoulders that time and delivered a little bit of punishment. It's going to be a first down for East Carolina. Gain of 6 for the freshman running back.
And when Anthony Scott came into camp, they knew who he was and what he was about, the talent that he had. But one of the things that really impressed Coach Ruff and their coaching staff was his maturity for a young guy knowing how to practice, wanting to do the reps. And so those are good signs you get young players with the mature football mentality.
I think he had some good coaching along the way, too. That probably helped just a little bit. Quay Johnson. Austin Teague, pardon me, making the grab. I think that's Quay Johnson, actually listed as a receiver. Gain of 6 on the play. Also, we saw a good performance from Cam Worthy tonight. You see the total yards difference. That pretty much sums up the game. Exactly how it's gone. Is Grayson breaking down the field. He'll try to get to the end zone, and he is stopped at the 12-yard line. Tremendous second effort that time by Reggie Hunter, a sophomore from Henderson, North Carolina, who didn't quit on the play.
And the one thing young Grayson will learn is to stay in bounds and keep that clock ticking. We're trying to put the game away, but you notice East Carolina, they're not changing what they do. You got your young players in there, and they're a no-huddle team. This is what they do. They're not going super fast, but they're kind of running, it's a little faster than normal, but it's their tempo, it's what they do, it's executing their offense. They want their young players to learn how to do what they do.
42-yard gain that time for the redshirt freshman back. Pass right to the middle of the field inside the 10-yard line. Catch made by Cedric Thompson. For a short gain, about 4. We're down to the 2-minute mark in this game. East Carolina will begin with a victory. Then they've got to go into Columbia, South Carolina. They're meeting with the Gamecocks, who were just thrashed the other night at record levels.
Boy, could you imagine the old ball coaches' staff meeting and player meetings after that game? It's like, what just hit us?
Yeah, you know what? There's no question.
In South Carolina.
Yep. With a brand new quarterback for Texas A&M, nobody knew what they were getting into, except maybe Kevin Sumlin. I think they knew.
Kevin Sumlin.
Bankert's got a chance here. Fighting off tacklers and fighting into the end zone. Kurt Bankert gets the touchdown with a lot of effort. He got collared around the neck on this and fought it off.
Looking downfield, breaking tackles.
Yeah, you can see him letting out a big woo right there as he got in, Ric Flair style.
Hey, he's 6'3", 220 pounds, and he's going to put more weight on. You're looking at another good size, athletic guy at the quarterback position for the Pirates.
So East Carolina tacks on one more. The minute 22 to go. They get touchdowns from their quarterbacks tonight. Anchored in the end zone. And also another big thing for East Carolina, we have not heard anything about any injuries. I don't recall the training staff being on the field once tonight for East Carolina. Let's hope it stays that way, obviously, with a minute 22 to go. So that's another big thing. Avoiding some early catastrophic injury that can affect your team for the rest of the year.
And there's Coach Ruff. You know, it was great talking with him and understanding his background and how things change, where, you know, he was so disappointed not getting that job at Texas Tech after being there for so long, but everything works out the way it's supposed to. He gets a phone call before he's getting ready to go to Stanford, and to come back to a place where he's from. How special is that? And to see what he's done here. And it wasn't just a quick fix overnight. He's building the foundation to last, and it shows by the depth they have on the field. He's 30 and 22 overall. The last 2 seasons, this thing is going upward and onward.
He coached at the interim spot in the bowl game for Texas Tech and thought that gave him the inside track for the opportunity after the whole Mike Leach controversy there. And you're right, he said that was, for my family and I, was the worst. He was in the Atlanta airport getting ready to meet with Jim Harbaugh and start recruiting for Stanford in that area. And he got the opportunity to be the head coach at East Carolina and took it.
That just goes to show you sometimes you may be in your worst moment, but your best moment is not that far away.
Yeah.
And I think that optimism is so important for many of us on many different levels.
Why did you look at me when you said that?
Hey. I don't know if you consider me your worst moment or your best moment.
No, well,
hopefully it's your best moment.
Somewhere in the middle. Well, how about this? You got to go back to September 6, 2008, when they held the Mountaineers to 3, which Alabama couldn't do today. Of course, that's a different Mountaineer team, 2008, but that's a nice performance by this ECU defense unless something breaks in the next minute and 14.
And then you think what East Carolina University has been known for, and that's offensive production, innovation, wide open things. And now defensively, with Rick Smith, the defensive-minded head coach, they've got both sides of the ball in the direction where they want to be as a program.
You know, it was funny. I flew in here. I was sitting next to an East Carolina fan. And he started complaining about their defense. He found out, where are you going? I'm going to the game. You know, I'm calling it for television. He goes, they're a pretty good team. I just wish they could stop people. They can't stop anybody.
I don't know. They were first in Conference USA in stopping the rush last year. Only gave up 24.8 points per game.
Not every fan is happy. Okay, you know that, and I know that too. So, well, I guess if that gentleman's watching tonight, or maybe he came to the game, they stopped somebody tonight. We're counting this one down for North Carolina Central. Those head back to Durham and get ready to play Elizabeth City State at home on September the 6th. We've talked about ECU's next game against the Gamecocks. You'll see that on the ESPN family of networks, 7 o'clock Eastern time on September 6th. And that will do it here from Dowdy Ficklin. One last blast of the cannon, and Jerry Mack ran into a buzzsaw here. Too much. East Carolina Pirates as they dominate North Carolina Central 52-7. It began with a purple haze smoke. And it ends with an East Carolina victory. For David Diaz-Infante, I'm Dave Lamont, thanking you for watching. We'll see you next time.